Global Martial Arts, I Only Know a Little Bit of Kung Fu, Part 1. Lin Ge was reborn. How did he die? Don't ask, he has no clue himself. Suddenly, a mechanical voice echoed in his mind. Congratulations. You've activated the strongest brain system. Photographic memory unlocked. Detected, host is a high school student preparing for the college entrance examination. Mission auto-generated. Task 1, enter any university, reward, plus 100 spiritual power. Task 2, get into a key university, reward, plus 100 spiritual power, plus 100 chi and vitality. Task 3, be admitted to a top-tier university, reward, special talent unlocked. Lin Ge stared blankly at the floating prompts. Who am I? Where am I? Looking around at the rows of classroom desks, he strained to recall what happened. Wasn't he just asleep at home? How did he end up here? Wait. Strongest brain system. Photographic memory. His eyes lit up as he focused on the system prompts. He was in his final year of high school, facing the dreaded college entrance exams. This system. It was a godsend. Did the heavens finally pity me? With this ability, I might even score 60 in the foreign language test. Overjoyed, Lin Ge almost dropped to his knees in gratitude. I'm going to study hard. I'll become a great scientist, or a famous author, maybe even win a poetry competition and get a recommendation letter. I'll chase the prettiest school belle, marry her, and have at least 3 kids. In under a minute, Lin Ge had already envisioned his life plan, down to naming his future children, completely ignoring the actual tasks. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. No showing off. Stay humble. Focus on studying and amaze everyone in the final exam. Motivated, Lin Ge opened the textbook on his desk, only to immediately feel something was off. The title read, Master Wang's Sudden Enlightenment on a Snowy Night. He flipped a page. Little Brother Ma's Guide to Weapon Refining. Page after page, all the same. Who the hell replaced my textbook with a novel, he shouted internally. Glaring at his deskmate, Han Pangpang, real name Han Zixin, nicknamed for his generous size, Lin Ge suspected him immediately. Especially since Han was reading the exact same book. Before Lin Ge could question him, the classroom bell rang. A bearded, balding man walked in. Li Chang, the class homeroom and math teacher. Turn to page 87. Today we'll cover long sword techniques, he said without preamble. The sound of pages turning echoed around the room, except from Lin Ge, who sat frozen. What the hell? Sword techniques? Isn't this supposed to be a math class? Aren't we learning equations? Lin Zi, why are you spacing out? Bald Chang will call on you next. Fatty Han elbowed him. Fatty, did the teacher just say we're learning swordsmanship today? Lin Ge asked cautiously. Yep. Page 87. Your favorite? Han grinned. Numbly, Lin Ge flipped open the book. Sure enough, illustrated sword techniques, detailed with annotations and diagrams. They even resembled geometric figures. When did we start learning this? He muttered. He glanced around. Everyone else looked unfazed, as if this was perfectly normal. Curious and increasingly disturbed, Lin Ge discreetly pulled out his phone and checked the latest news. Baidu Group CEO Li achieves Grandmaster breakthrough. Dong Group's Lu leads adventuring team to raid another world's ruins. Spring Province governor to transfer to otherworldly administration office. Lin Ge was stunned. If he had doubts before, they were gone now. He had clearly transmigrated. A world of high martial arts. And all I got was a super brain system. He had thought this was a golden opportunity, but now it felt like he was handed a shiny but useless tool in a battlefield of monsters. Lin Ge, the teacher called out, please explain the characteristics and proper usage of the long sword. Teacher, I don't know, Lin Ge replied honestly. He was still processing everything. You don't pay attention in class, your mock scores are always at the bottom, how do you plan to get into university at this rate? Lin Ge felt utterly wronged. He'd studied for over a decade and never once encountered sword techniques on an exam. Li Chang continued teaching, elaborating on the sword's 3 categories, long, short, and greatswords, and their respective moves like chopping, stabbing, slashing, lifting, sweeping, and more. As Lin Gu half listened, he absent-mindedly flipped through the textbook, and made a startling discovery. Everything he read was instantly and clearly recorded in his mind, like video playback. So this is photographic memory. Excited, he began testing his ability, skimming textbooks one after another, absorbing every detail, history, theory, combat manuals. From this, he pieced together the world's background. Hundreds of years ago, a dimensional rift appeared, flooding the world with alien races. Human technology proved ineffective. Facing extinction, humans detonated nukes to push them back, but it was a short-term fix. Eventually, humanity discovered that ancient martial arts could harm these creatures. This sparked a global revival of martial disciplines. Governments united to form an alliance, deciding to make martial arts mandatory in schools. Even college entrance exams now included a Qi and blood test. A blood and Qi test. Lin Gu broke out in a cold sweat. He had neither Qi nor blood cultivation. The college entrance exam was in less than a month. Was he doomed before he even started? There must be another way, he told himself. If technology still exists in this world, surely there are cultural or academic paths too. Given how his teacher treated him, it was obvious Lin Gu ranked near the bottom. Catching up through brute training was impossible. He needed a new strategy. After class, he grabbed Han Pangpang before he could dash off. "Fatty, what's your Qi and blood value? And how do I raise mine quickly?" Han gave him a weird look. "Bro, are you okay? Why are you acting so strange?" "Let me take a leak first, I'll talk after." "Fine. I'll come with you. We'll talk on the way." Lin Gu followed him out, still trying to make sense of his new reality. "Why are you acting weird today? You never cared about these things before." When Fatty Han saw Lin Gu following him, he muttered in surprise. "I understand." Lin Gu said seriously. "What did you realize?" Han Pangpang asked with blinking eyes. "Study hard, make progress every day, and strive to be a useful person to society." Han Pangpang was speechless for a while and looked at him as if he was a fool. "To be honest, I plan to take the college entrance exam seriously and try to get admission. Last year, the college entrance examination required a Qi and blood score of 300 to pass, 400 to be excellent, and 500 to be recommended for admission. Your Qi and blood score is just over 100. Do you think it's possible to raise it to the passing line within half a month?" Han Pangpang said disdainfully. "So much difference." After listening to this, Lin Gu frowned. He didn't expect that his health was so poor. Not to mention being admitted, it was even difficult for him to reach the passing line. What else? Those who were recommended are all chosen by heaven. They have big families to protect them and have received the best education since childhood. They are different from ordinary people like us. Forget it. Han Pangpang saw what Lin Gu was thinking and directly persuaded him to give up the idea. "Then is there any other way to get the recommendation?" Lin Gu asked again. "There is a way, but it is more difficult to achieve than 500 HP. You can tell me first, so that I can learn more." "First, if you have made outstanding contributions to society and your contribution reaches 100 points, you can be admitted directly as an exception. Second, if you have special expertise in a certain field, you can be admitted as an exception." After Han Pangpang finished speaking, his face was full of emotion, and the longing in his eyes was beyond words. Lin Gu had originally given up hope, but when he heard the last item, his eyes suddenly lit up. "It's too late to improve my strength now, and contribution points can't be obtained in a short period of time. That only leaves the last option." Lin Gu remembered that there were majors in alchemy, weapon refining, and martial arts research in this world. All of these require a lot of knowledge and experience accumulation, which may be difficult for others, but for someone like him who has a photographic memory, it seems tailor-made for him. In 21 days, even if he can't reach a very high level, he is confident that he can reach the first-class level of his age group. After all, he is a cheater. With his gift of photographic memory, he is not afraid of the theoretical exam. "What are you thinking about?" Han Pangpang saw that Lin Gu was distracted, poked him and asked. "I have decided to take the theoretical exam on alchemy knowledge." Lin Ge looked very heroic. Brother, are you having a fever? How can you learn alchemy in high school? That's a course only available in college, okay. Besides, how can you, a poor student who always competes with me for the second to last place, take the theoretical knowledge test? Han Pangpang stretched out his chubby paws to touch Lin Ge's forehead. Get out of here, I'm serious. Lin Ge slapped his claws away in annoyance. You said the same thing last time, but what happened? You lay flat on your back the next day. Han Pangpang complained. Lin Ge was speechless. It's different this time. I will definitely be admitted. It's indeed different. I feel like you're sicker today than last time. Han Pangpang nodded in agreement. Are you going to die or not? Lin Ge wanted to kick him twice. This guy is not good at anything, but he is good at pouring cold water on people. The two returned to the classroom playing and fighting, and the bell rang at this time. This class was taught by our homeroom teacher Li Chang. As soon as I entered the classroom, I saw him waving his hand to indicate that I didn't need to stand up. The squad leader will lead everyone to gather at the playground. Li Chang was very decisive in his actions. He didn't say a word and just turned around and left. Everyone in the class was left looking at each other, not knowing what had happened. Everyone line up according to your groups and gather in the playground. Class monitor UAIAI walked up to the podium and began to arrange everyone to line up. What are you going to do? I don't know either. I heard that the school invited a senior student to give us a mobilization speech for the college entrance examination. School leaders just like to do these empty things. It would be better to take a few more classes if you have the time. The students walked out of the classroom talking about it. Everyone soon arrived at the playground. At this time, the playground of tens of thousands of square meters was already crowded with people. It looked like a huge area filled with heads. If you throw a brick in there at this time, it will definitely hit someone, and no one will know who did it. Han Pangpang said in a mean way. No, I know who did it. Lin Ge said righteously. Guzi, you've changed. You've really changed. You weren't like this before. Give my good friend back to me. Han Pangpang grabbed Lin Ge's clothes and shook him continuously. Okay, stop playing around and get in line. Lin Ge broke free from his claws and ran towards the team where his class was. After lining up for about 5 minutes, I heard a command. Stand at attention, stand at ease, sit down. Everyone fell to the ground with a huff. Today we are honored to have Major Lin here to give you a mobilization speech for the college entrance examination. Please welcome him with applause. A little old man stood in front of the microphone and spoke. Lin Ge knew this person, he was the school principal Wang Xing. Major Lin, please say a few words to these children. Wang Xing gave up his seat with a smile. Principal Wang is too polite. You can just call me Lin Yu. After all, I am also a student from this school. A young man with a resolute and handsome face strode over, shook hands with Wang Xing and exchanged some polite words. Xiao Yu, it's been 5 years in a blink of an eye. I didn't expect that you'd become a major now. It's true that the younger generation is pushing the older generation forward. Wang Xing sighed with a smile, the wrinkles on his face were wrinkled into the shape of chrysanthemums. Isn't this all due to your good teaching? Without your cultivation, I wouldn't be where I am today. Lin Yu was still very grateful to the old man in front of him. It was he who, despite everyone's opposition, proposed to focus on cultivating seed students and allocate school resources to those few people, which led to his achievements today. Their Yumming Middle School is an inconspicuous middle school, and the resources it receives every year are pitifully few. If they were to share the resources among others, it would only delay some good talents. It was this old principal who proposed focusing on cultivation, integrating school resources, prioritizing the training of some seed students, and spreading the reputation, so as to obtain more resources from above. At first, this proposal was opposed by everyone, who believed that it was unfair to other students. The old principal just said a few words with great earnestness, and shut these people up. Teaching is like carving a work of art. Even if you have a bunch of rough jade in your hands, if you can't carve out a decent piece, no one will care. Rather than being mediocre, we might as well take a chance and make every effort to cultivate a group of talents to prove the value of our school. Only in this way can we get more resource support from above. Maybe this is unfair to other students, but there is no such thing as fairness in this world. In the face of disaster, the only thing left is responsibility. Everyone fell silent because they understood what the old principle meant by responsibility and disaster. When alien races invade, for the superiors, one excellent seed is far more valuable to cultivate than a bunch of mediocre people. Sure enough, the old principle made the right bet. That year, out of the 10 people they trained with all their efforts, 4 were admitted to top universities and 5 were admitted to key schools. And the Lin Yu in front of him was directly admitted to the top capital university in the country. A little-known middle school cultivated 10 gifted students at one time. This could not help but attract the attention of the leaders. In the second year, several times more resources were allocated than in previous years. Looking at his favorite student, Wang Xing felt sincerely proud. Go ahead and teach your juniors a lesson, so they have a goal to aim for. Wang Xing signaled Lin Yu to give a speech. Yeah, okay. Lin Yu nodded, then strode towards the podium. Hello, teachers and students, I am Lin Yu. Lin Yu nodded to everyone and introduced himself. Lin Gu, who was originally whispering with Han Pangpang below, heard the voice and immediately stood up like a frightened rabbit and looked towards the podium. Just one look and his eyes turned red instantly. Elder brother. The tears could no longer be stopped from flowing. Han Pangpang, who had seen Lin Gu suddenly stand up and was about to pull him to sit down, froze instantly when he heard these words. Elder brother. Fatty Han looked at Lin Gu in disbelief, then looked at the person on the podium. Lin Gu didn't notice Han Pangpang's little movements. The only person on the podium was in his eyes. His biological brother Lin Yu was an orphan. His parents died early, and his brother had always taken care of him. It is no exaggeration to say that he is both a brother and a father. In order to support his schooling, Lin Yu used his spare time to work and earn money. As Lin Gu grew up, the high tuition fees made him unable to support it. Finally, Lin Yu, who was admitted to university, resolutely chose to join the army. He used the settlement money given by the army and the monthly allowance to support Lin Ge's schooling. Lin Gu was originally very motivated. Knowing that his brother had a hard time, he also studied very hard. However, the good times did not last long. In his third year of enlistment, his brother was killed in an operation. This made Lin Gu, who had a deep relationship with her brother since childhood, cry until she was hoarse. I locked myself in the room for several days without eating or drinking. He could not accept the fact that his brother had sacrificed his life. In his eyes, his brother was so outstanding, and it seemed that there was nothing he could not do. But when his comrades brought him his brother's urn, his world collapsed. From then on, he began to hate studying, thinking that if it weren't for this, his brother would not have joined the army and would not have sacrificed his life. 2 years have passed and he has begun to get used to his brother's departure. But he didn't expect that in this world he traveled to, he would see his dead brother again. This made him unable to suppress the emotions that he had suppressed for many years, and tears flowed uncontrollably. Lin Yu, who was originally giving a speech on the podium, of course saw Lin Gu suddenly stand up and heard what he shouted. He shook his head helplessly. How could he not recognize his brother? But now was not the time to chat about family matters, so he could only pretend he didn't see it and continue with his speech. Lin Gu stared at the figure on the podium without blinking, fearing that the person in front of him would disappear as soon as he closed his eyes. Lin Gu, you said the guy above is your brother. Why have I never heard you say that? Han Pangpang tugged at Lin Ge's clothes and motioned him to sit down first. After all, there were so many people sitting and he was the only one standing there, which was somewhat abrupt. That's my brother, my dear brother, isn't he awesome? Lin Gu was like a child showing off to his friends, pointing at Lin Yu on the podium and introducing him to the people around him. Your brother is awesome, but what does that have to do with you? Don't you feel ashamed that you are a poor student who always ranks last in exams and has a brother who is a top student? Before Han Pangpang opened his mouth, a burst of sarcasm came from the side. Jiang Lei, you're going to die if you don't speak, right? What's wrong with being a poor student? Did you eat your rice? Lin Gu was in a very good mood at the moment and didn't care about the other party's ridicule. However, Han Pangpang, who was standing next to him, became unhappy instantly when he heard this and immediately started to scold him. You're not much better, fatty. You're always either last or second to last. If I were you, I would have been too ashamed to stay here any longer. Jiang Lei usually considers himself an excellent student and looks down on Lin Ge, Han Pangpang, and others. This time, when he saw that the idol who was giving a speech on the stage was actually Lin Ji's brother, the contrast was a little hard for him to accept. Only then could he not help but sneer. Come on, there are 50 people in the class and you ranked 36th. People who don't know would think you are the best in the school. You want me to drop out so badly? Are you planning to inherit my throne as the last placed one? Han Pangpang would never tolerate him and started to mock him. Even if I took the test with my feet, there's no way I could be ranked last like you. Oh, so you usually use your feet during exams. I must tell the teachers later and ask them to be more careful when marking the papers. It's best to wear a mask, otherwise you won't know you're poisoned. Although Han Pangpang was not good at studying, he was definitely good at insulting others. Jiang Lei was so embarrassed by his retort that he blushed in just a few words. You. Jiang Lei couldn't scold him, and was about to stand up and fight when he was stopped by a voice. Jiang Lei, Han Zixin, what are you two doing? Lin Ge looked in the direction where the voice came from, only to see Ai glaring at the two of them. Hee, it's okay, let's just exchange some feelings. You don't understand the friendship between men. Han Pangpang smiled awkwardly. He dared to confront Jiang Lei, but he didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Ai. The reason was very simple. This guy and Ai were childhood neighbors. If he dared to disobey, Ai would go to his house to complain. For this, Han Pangpang received countless beatings, but he has learned his lesson. Seeing that the two had stopped arguing, Ai turned her gaze back to the podium. After this episode, several people stopped talking nonsense and listened attentively to Lin Yu's speech. I am standing here today not because I am better than you, but because I was born a few years earlier than you. I believe that the younger students here will definitely be better than me in the future. No matter what choice you make, please remember one thing, don't forget your original intention. Run towards your ideals and goals with all your might. In this way, even if you fail, you can say to yourself that you have tried your best and you have no regrets. Thank you everyone. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he took 2 steps back and saluted everyone. Senior Lin Yu, what is your ideal for getting into Capital University? Just as Lin Yu was about to leave, a female student in the audience asked. Lin Yu paused, turned his head slowly, looked at the men, smiled slightly, and then said 2 words, responsibility. When people around heard this answer, they were all confused and didn't understand the relationship between ideals and responsibilities. Only Lin Ge understood the meaning of this sentence. Seeing Lin Yu step down, Lin Ge quickly stood up and ran towards him. He pushed through the crowd and ran to Lin Yu in one breath. He originally wanted to give him a hug, but when he was 2 or 3 meters away from him, he stopped abruptly. He was a little scared. Afraid of recognizing the wrong person. I'm afraid this is just a dream. When Lin Yu saw Lin Ge standing there without moving forward, a hint of tenderness appeared on his resolute face. He stretched out his arms and made a hugging gesture. Seeing this, Lin Ge could no longer suppress his excitement and pounced on him. Brother, I miss you so much. However, when he was about to throw himself into Lin Yu's arms, he felt his arms tighten, and then the world was spinning. Bang! A standard shoulder throw knocked Lin Ge to the ground. Who am I? Where am I? What happened? Lin Ge was confused. How did a proper family reunion scene turn into a wrestling match? Pa! Before he could come to his senses, he felt a slap on the head. I asked you to study hard, but you always ranked last in the exams. Do you think I'm too far away? Or do you think I can't lift a knife anymore? Lin Yu's sneering voice rang in Lin Ge's ears. Lin Ge subconsciously wanted to quibble, but when he saw Lin Yu's half-smile, he forced himself to hold it back. If you can't beat them, then join them. It's not shameful to be beaten by your own brother. It's not the first time anyway. Lin Ge kept comforting herself in her heart. Brother, I missed you. Lin Ge thought of various excuses to defend himself, but when he came to his lips, the only thing that came out was this sentence. Lin Yu, who was originally waiting for Lin Ge to find an excuse for himself, trembled in his heart when he heard this. The hand that was originally intended to pat him on the head turned into a gentle placement on the other's head. Then he rubbed Lin Ge's hair, kneading his head into a chicken coop shape. Then he withdrew his hand and said, "Let's go home. What do you want to eat tonight? I'll treat you to a meal. I want to eat the mapo tofu you made yourself." Lin Ge felt the familiar touch on his head and felt as if he was in another world. This is not a dream, it's really my brother. Lin Ge felt like tears welled up in her eyes. Only after losing something do you realize how precious it was when you had it. You are an adult, and you are still crying. It's shameful. Go away now. Lin Yu gave him a slap on the head and pulled him up from the ground. I wasn't crying, I just hit my nose when I fell. Lin Ge defended. Okay, I believe it. Lin Yu said perfunctorily. Lin Ge looked at Lin Yu's back as he kept moving forward and hurriedly followed. I really didn't cry. I really believe it. In the evening, the two sat at a shabby wooden table with two dishes in front of them. Green pepper eggs, mapo tofu. These two dishes, which are the most common to others, are rare delicacies for Lin Ge and his friends. In the past, I might not be able to eat it once a week. I haven't cooked for a long time. Come on, try it and see if my cooking skills have deteriorated. Lin Yu handed over a pair of chopsticks and motioned Lin Ge to try it quickly. Lin Ge didn't hesitate and directly picked up a piece of mapo tofu and put it into his mouth. The tender tofu kept jumping in your mouth. Since it was just out of the pot, the temperature inside was still very high. The addition of the chili and peppercorns increased the pain several times. It's so hot, so hot. Lin Ge held tofu in his mouth and fanned it with his hands while opening his mouth. Why don't you spit it out quickly? It's been so many years and you're still so irritated. Lin Yu couldn't help laughing when he saw his brother's appearance, and handed him a glass of cold boiled water. I haven't eaten the food you cooked for a long time. I don't want to throw up, and I'm afraid I won't have the chance to eat it in the future. Lin Ge replied subconsciously. When Lin Yu heard this, a hint of guilt appeared on his smiling face. He was admitted to the military academy of the capital university. Although the treatment was good, he seldom came back. This also resulted in Lin Ge and his friends not seeing each other for several years. Xiaoge, I'm sorry, it's my brother who didn't take good care of you. Lin Yu said with some guilt. Brother, what are you talking about? You've been very good to me. I know your school is very strict and you don't have the chance to come back to see me. I can understand that. Lin Yu was a soldier in his previous life. He served in the army and had no time to go home. He even rarely made phone calls. Lin Ge has already gotten used to it. Ha ha ha, you're trying to comfort me. Let's eat first. I've been transferred back and am on vacation recently. I can accompany you until the college entrance examination is over. Are you surprised? Lin Yu's words scared Lin Ge so much that the chopsticks in his hand almost fell off. Will you stay with me until the college entrance exam is over? Lin Ge asked tentatively. Of course. This is the first important thing in my brother's life. How can I, as his elder brother, not be by his side? Don't worry, I will help you review during this period of time. Lin Yu seemed to have misunderstood what Lin Ge meant. No need for that. You finally got a vacation, why don't you enjoy yourself for a few days? Or why don't you take this opportunity to find me a sister-in-law? Lin Ge asked tentatively. Bang. A slap landed on the back of Lin Ge's head. A girlfriend is not as important as a brother. Lin Yu said righteously. I'll remember this. When you have a girlfriend in the future, I will tell her the truth. Lin Ge said in a mean way. I haven't seen you for a few years. You're getting more and more arrogant now. Come with me outside after dinner to practice. I'll see if you've improved. Lin Yu glanced at him lightly, and then said indifferently. Lin Ge felt like he was shooting himself in the foot, and screamed in his heart, you can't afford to play with this. Facts have proved that Lin Yu is still trustworthy. He said he would practice after dinner and did not procrastinate at all. Without even cleaning up the dishes, he took Lin Ge directly to the yard. I won't bully you either. I will only use 300 HP in a moment. If you can hit me, you win. Lin Yu stood there proudly. You said you wouldn't bully me, but 300 HP, do you think anyone can achieve that? After listening to this, Lin Gu couldn't help but complain in his heart. He didn't know what his current level was, but according to Han Pangpang, the two were about the same, basically around 100, which was at the bottom among their peers. What are you still dawdling about? Hurry up. Seeing that he was reluctant to take action, Lin Yu raised his eyebrows and began to urge him. Oh, here it comes. Lin Gu had no choice but to go ahead. He has lived for so long, and except for the fights he had with others when he was in elementary school, he has never had the chance to fight again after growing up. The plot in the movie kept replaying in his mind. He made an attacking gesture, yelled, and then rushed forward. Ah! Ouch! Before he could get close to Lin Yu, he was kicked to the ground by the other party. So weak. Lin Yu's face looked a little ugly. He had deliberately lowered his strength just now, but he didn't expect that he still kicked Lin Gu 2 or 3 meters away. No more fighting, no more fighting, I give up. Lin Gu was kicked all over the place and lay on the ground groaning and unwilling to get up. What the hell have you been doing all these years? I just used less than 200 chi and HP, and you can't even handle it. How are you going to get into college? When Lin Yu saw Lin Ge's rogue appearance, he was immediately angry. Lin Gu was shocked by his roar. It was the first time he saw his brother get so angry. What is your current blood value? Lin Yu asked with a gloomy face. About, maybe 200. Lin Gu didn't dare to tell the truth and could only lie a little. Only 200. Lin Yu frowned. Let's stop here for today. I'm going to go out for a while and come back later. You must stand still at home and you are not allowed to stop until I come back. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he didn't even look at Lin Ge's reaction and turned around and walked out the door. If you want me to stand still, you have to tell me how to do it, right? Lin Gu felt so aggrieved, he had just come across and had no idea how to stand still. He watched Lin Yu leave, then took out his phone and began searching for video tutorials on how to strengthen chi and blood and how to stand in a posture. With his gift of photographic memory, he quickly memorized what he searched for. Place your feet in line with your shoulders, your thighs in line with your knees, and your fists clenched and straightened at 90 degrees to your shoulders. The posture is simple and you will learn it once you see it. Lin Gu was full of confidence and began to imitate the posture in the video. 10 seconds, with a smile on your face. 20 seconds, there seems to be something. After 30 seconds, my arms began to tremble uncontrollably. 40 seconds later, my whole body ached, as if countless ants were crawling all over my body. 50, well, not 50 seconds. Lin Yu only lasted for about 40 seconds before collapsing to the ground with a thin layer of sweat on his body. Which pervert came up with this training method? You learn it once you see it, but it's useless once you learn it. Lin Gu lay on the ground, looking like he had lost all hope in life. The video says that if you persist for 10 minutes every day and then gradually increase the difficulty of the time, it can help strengthen your body's chi and blood. But isn't this too perverted? He only lasted for 40 seconds and felt as if he was being tortured. It was hard to imagine how those who could last more than 10 minutes did it. I'm really not suited to martial arts training. I'd better just be a civilian. Lin Gu wisely chose to end the training. He has the most powerful brain system. Just from the name, you can tell that he makes a living by his brain. Why would he want to do these fighting and killing things? I leaned back on the sofa in the living room, turned on the TV, and randomly selected a show. Do you want to become a master? Do you want your child to win at the starting line? Penguin Blood Essence can quickly increase your chi and blood value without any side effects. Ant brand powerful pills can help you increase your strength quickly. Men can't stand it after taking them, and women can't stand it after taking them. Both men and women can eat them. Dongzi Logistics, we are faster than you think. Lin Gu changed several channels in a row, and all of them were various advertisements. Looking at those familiar logos from his previous life made him feel annoyed. They are all things related to martial arts. Is there no entertainment in this world? At this moment, the advertisement on TV suddenly disappeared, and was replaced by the image of a capable woman. An urgent news interruption, a spatial fluctuation has occurred near Chun Province. Warriors near Chun Province are requested to go there as soon as possible, obey the command, make emergency plans, and the public should try to stay at home and not go out. The technology in this world is so advanced that it can even detect spatial fluctuations. Lin Gu sighed but didn't take it to heart. Turning off the TV, Lin Gu decided to continue practicing standing still, lest Lin Yu come back and see him being lazy and punish him again. By this time it was completely dark. Lin Gu looked towards the gate. The street was empty and there was no one in sight. Boom. There was a loud noise in the distance, as if something had exploded. Due to the obstruction of the surrounding houses, Lin Gu could not see where the explosion occurred. Why hasn't my brother come back yet? Lin Gu took out his cell phone and started calling Lin Yu. Sorry, the number you dialed is out of service. Please try again later. A system notification sound came from the phone. Why isn't he in the service area? Where is my brother? Lin Gu was a little confused. Although this was a high-level martial arts world, the signal covered the entire world. I had never heard of any place that could not be connected. How about trying mobile? Lin Gu quickly put this joke from his past life out of his mind. You're still thinking about making jokes at this time. But where is my brother? Lin Gu looked at the phone that had not yet hung up and began to think about where Lin Yu might have gone. After much thought, Lin Gu decided to go out and look for it. First, go to the supermarket and school. If that doesn't work, try the nearby martial arts gym. Lin Gu first locked a few places and then trotted all the way. The road was empty, there was not a single pedestrian in sight, only the street lights flickered, like a scene from a horror movie. This is a high-level martial arts world, not a supernatural world. There shouldn't be ghosts, right? Lin Gu became more and more nervous as he walked. There was not a single pedestrian on the road. Before, he could have thought that the place where he lived was relatively remote, but now that he walked onto the main road, he still didn't see any human figures. This was a bit abnormal. It's only 8 o'clock in the evening. Even in the countryside, it's impossible not to see a single person, let alone in the city. Young man, why are you still wandering around the street? Go home quickly. Just as Lin Gu was thinking about what was going on, a voice came from behind him. Looking back, he saw a middle-aged man in casual clothes staggering towards him. Uncle, what happened? Why is there Northwest One on the street? When Lin Gu saw the middle-aged man, he was not surprised but happy, and immediately asked about the doubts in his mind. Uncle. Don't you know me? The middle-aged man was a little stunned. Are you famous? Lin Gu asked tentatively. No, I was just joking, ha ha ha. The middle-aged man laughed awkwardly. Didn't you read the warning message? A space crack has appeared nearby. Everyone must stay at home and not go out, except for warriors, of course. I see that you are young, so you are not a warrior, right? The middle-aged man looked Lin Gu up and down, then shook his head, denying his guess. Lin Gu felt offended, but he couldn't find any evidence. Who are you looking down on? Can't you become a warrior at such a young age? Who made the rule? Lin Gu kept complaining in his heart, but the middle-aged man in front of him had no idea what he was thinking. Uncle, where are you going? Lin Gu suddenly thought that his brother Lin Yu was also a warrior. Could it be that his brother Lin Yu didn't come back so late because of this incident? The aliens are invading, and we warriors must be responsible. You should stop wandering on the street and go home quickly. The residential areas are protected by formations, and it is difficult for the aliens to break through. The streets are not that safe. The middle-aged man said this and prepared to leave. Lin Gu wanted to ask a few more questions, but the other party didn't give him a chance. He just tapped his toes and disappeared from his sight with a few leaps. Oh my god, is this the legendary Qinggong? So cool. Lin Ge's face was full of envy. He had only seen it on TV before, but now that he saw the real version, he was so excited. After this little episode, Lin Gu had no more time to look for his brother and returned home with his head hung. From time to time, loud noises were heard in the silent night, followed by the earth shaking. Lin Gu thought there was an earthquake several times. I don't know how long it took, but Lin Gu fell asleep in a daze. The next morning, I was woken up by the alarm clock. After getting dressed and walking out of the bedroom, I found a small bottle on the table with a note underneath. Xiaoga, I have something urgent to do, so I won't be back for a few days. This bottle contains a pill that can increase your chi and blood. Take one pill every day, and then use standing still to refine and absorb it. Looking forward to your performance in the college entrance examination. There is also an ugly smiley face drawn below. After reading the message, Lin Gu picked up the bottle on the table, opened it and smelled it. A medicinal fragrance emanated from it, but the smell was mixed with a faint smell of blood. This is blood sperm. Lin Gu recognized what was in the bottle and was shocked. He just checked online yesterday and found that a blood sperm of the lowest quality would cost more than 10,000 yuan, while a better quality one could be sold for 50,000 or 60,000 yuan. And there are no less than 10 pills in the bottle. Doesn't that mean there are at least hundreds of thousands? When he thought about eating these things, he felt his heart bleeding, and he ate 10,000 in one mouthful. Principal Wang in his previous life wasn't so extravagant, right? Where did my brother get so much money? Did he go to college and hook up with a rich woman? Lin Gu began to imagine the scene of Lin Yu being kept by a rich woman, and couldn't help but shudder. Just as he left his residence and headed for school, two figures quietly appeared at a corner not far behind him. Is this your brother? His strength seems a little weak. I don't ask him to become very strong, just enough to be able to protect himself. As long as I'm alive, he won't be harmed. Lin Yu watched Lin Gu walk away, a hint of tenderness appearing on his resolute face. By the way, how is your injury? Will it affect the next action? The young man turned his head and looked at Lin Yu's shoulder and asked. It's just some superficial injuries. I'll just apply some medicine later. It won't be a big deal. Lin Yu said indifferently. You are really cruel. A level 5 warrior actually dares to fight with a master. I don't know whether to praise you for being brave or stupid. The young man recalled what happened last night and couldn't help but complain. Don't you have me here? If it were just me, I wouldn't dare to rush up. Lin Yu smiled and flattered. Come on, forget it. I haven't had a peaceful day since I teamed up with you. Consider it a plea from me. Can we fight against opponents of the same level? Can you please stop challenging opponents of higher levels every time? Although the young man said this, there was a proud expression on his face. His name is Chu Yunan, the eldest son of the Chu family in Shangjing. He is very arrogant and there are not many people of his age who can catch his eye. And Lin Yu happened to be one of them. The reason was very simple, he had been beaten by the other party. With the mentality of, join if you can't beat them, he followed Lin Yu all day long to avenge his previous humiliation. However, reality is cruel. After being abused again and again, he finally faced the reality that the guy in front of him was a monster and he could not beat him. After leaving school, the two served in the army together and gained experience in secret places. He originally thought that he could just cling to the powerful and live an easy life. But the result is that he fights monsters of higher levels every day, so much so that he now feels it is a blessing to be able to beat someone of the same level once. However, there is a reward for every effort. From the peak of level 3 when he graduated from school, it only took him 1 year to successfully break through to the middle of level 5. This was something he had never dared to imagine before. Let's go. The Grandmaster ran away last night. I don't know if the governor and his men caught him. Lin Yu interrupted Chu Yunan's thoughts. You don't want to cause trouble for him, do you? Brother, he's a master. We both managed to save our lives from each other. Even if you don't care about yourself, can you at least have some pity on me? When Chu Yunan heard this, he immediately started howling like a ghost. 7th tier weapons and equipment, market value is 1 billion. Lin Yu was already accustomed to his reaction and said lightly. F***ck him. When Chu Yunan heard this, he instantly became excited. Be civilized. Violence cannot solve the problem. Lin Yu was also speechless. Is this guy really the future heir of the Chu family? Why does it seem like I need to use money to encourage him every time? Brother Yu is right, violence can't solve problems, it can only solve opponents. Chu Yunan had long known about Lin Yu's scheming, so how could he not know what this guy was thinking? Let's go. Once we complete this mission, we will have the resources to achieve Grandmaster level in the future. Lin Yu didn't care about his complaints and just turned and left. On the other side, Lin Gu came to the classroom as usual. As soon as she sat down, she saw Han Pangpang approaching her mysteriously. "Lindsay, have you watched the news?" "What news?" Lin Ge was a little confused and didn't know what he was talking about. A large number of space cracks appeared in Chun province last night. There was one in the western suburbs of our city. A large group of warriors went to suppress it. I heard that there were also master-level warriors. Even the governor came. Han Pangpang's dad works in the police station, so he knows more about these things than most people. Grandmaster-level expert. Lin Ge had no idea about the Grandmaster. He just heard that he was very powerful, but he had no idea how powerful he was. "Let me show you a video." Han Pangpang looked around like a thief, then took out his cell phone and clicked on a video. Yammet Butterfly. A man and a woman are fighting fiercely. F***CK, you're awesome. Lin Ge looked at the video on his mobile phone and almost choked on his own saliva. He gave Han Pangpang a thumbs up. "Sorry, I ordered the wrong one. This one is it." Han Pangpang was also a little embarrassed and quickly searched again. Lin Ge rolled his eyes, thinking that this guy was unreliable, but he was soon attracted by the video. Because it was night, the picture was blurry. You could only vaguely see a group of people fighting around a blue vortex. And from time to time, human figures appear in the blue vortex. The one on the left is our warrior, and the one on the right is an alien. Han Pangpang explained to Lin Ge while watching. "Which one is the Grandmaster?" Lin Ge looked for a long time but couldn't find anyone particularly awesome, so he had to ask. "The Grandmaster hasn't appeared yet. These are just low and mid-level warriors." Han Pangpang had obviously seen it many times and knew the situation inside very well. From the picture, we can see that the alien warriors have the advantage. They are more numerous, and the humans have a hard time resisting. As time went on, the number of human warriors began to increase rapidly, and they had already overwhelmed the warriors of other races. "Did you see these two people?" Han Pangpang pointed at two inconspicuous figures at the edge of the video. "What happened to them?" Lin Ge looked in the direction of his finger, where two figures were standing and fighting with someone. "These two are hidden bosses. Don't underestimate them now. You will know them later." Han Pangpang kept the question in suspense. When Lin Ge heard this, he looked carefully at the place where the two men were fighting. They were fighting back and forth with their opponents, but there was nothing outstanding to see. Why does this person's back look familiar? The more Lin Ge looked at the other person, the more familiar he felt. It was just that the shooting distance was far, and the sky was a little dark, so he couldn't see clearly. Here it comes, the climax is coming." Han Pangpang shouted excitedly. A tall figure walked out of the blue vortex. As soon as he appeared, everyone's eyes were on him. "Damn it! A Grandmaster has arrived. Contact the governor immediately. Everyone who can still move must stop him from entering the city at all costs." These are the words spoken by the person who filmed the video. Then I heard a noisy sound of footsteps gradually fading away. Lin Ge didn't pay attention to where these people were going, but stared at the direction of the video without blinking. The alien master entered the field and killed several people in just one encounter. Just when he was about to continue, the two people who had fallen to the ground suddenly stood up. A knife and a sword attacked him at the same time. The alien master obviously didn't expect that someone could withstand his full-strength attack and survive. Not only did he not die, he also faked his death and launched a sneak attack. Caught off guard, he could only mobilize his chi and blood to turn it into a shield to resist. The release of chi and blood is a skill that only masters have. However, he overestimated his own reaction and underestimated his sneak attack opponent. A ray of cold light slashed down, directly breaking the blood and chi shield, and then the dazzling sword edge slashed fiercely on the alien master. This scene stunned everyone present, including Lin Ge who was watching the video. What a tacit cooperation and what a powerful method. Those two men obviously had not reached the Grandmaster level, but they used this method to successfully launch a sneak attack and injure the Grandmaster. This is definitely not something that ordinary people can do. The alien master was knocked away and it took him a long time to get up from the ground. It was obvious that he was seriously injured. But a lean camel is still bigger than a horse. Although this alien master was seriously injured, he is still no match for ordinary people. He was surrounded by red light, like a bloody god of war. A spear appeared out of thin air in his hand and stabbed towards the two men like a long dragon. The man holding the sword raised his sword to block, but was knocked away. Before he could land on the ground, the spear stabbed out again, heading straight for his heart. The man with the knife rushed forward and slashed with the knife in his hand, knocking the spear off course and barely avoiding the vital points. Then he pulled the man with the sword back. The alien master took advantage of the situation and wielded his spear like a snake, attacking the two men continuously. The two men fought hard but were still no match for the other. This was when the alien master was seriously injured. If it was the other in his prime, the two men would have died on the spot. The human warriors around were not idle. Seeing that the Grandmaster was entangled, they began to attack the surrounding aliens desperately. The melee was extremely fierce. Just when Lin Gu thought the video ended here, the man holding the sword suddenly gave up defense, used his body to withstand a shot from the alien master, and then threw out the sword, piercing the opponent's heart. The alien master wanted to pull back his spear to block, but found that the spear was firmly grasped by the opponent and he could not pull it away for a while. In the end, he could only turn sideways to avoid the attack. At this moment, the warrior holding the knife suddenly chopped down with the long knife in his hand. Lin Gu didn't know how many times the other party slashed with his sword at that moment. He only felt a shadow passing by in front of his eyes, and then heard the alien master let out a scream. An arm flew up. He raised his foot and kicked the knife-wielding warrior away, then retreated while covering his broken arm with his other hand. Both sides suffered losses, and it is hard to say who gained the upper hand. Both sides suffered damage. The sword-wielding warrior had lost his combat effectiveness, the knife-wielding warrior was kicked and coughed up blood, and the alien master had one arm cut off. The two sides fell into a brief stalemate, and both took out healing medicine to heal their wounds. After a while, the alien master suddenly moved, but this time he did not attack the two people, but turned around and ran away. Not only him, but also the surrounding alien warriors turned around and fled at the same time. This scene confused Lin Gu. Why did you run away in the middle of a fight? However, the answer was quickly given in the video. Less than a minute after the alien warrior escaped, a long rainbow streaked across the sky and a middle-aged man walked into the air. Yes. It's not an exaggeration, it's literally flying in the air. Lin Ge's mouth was opened so wide that an egg could be stuffed in it. This person can fly. What's this person or that person? This is our Chun province governor Su Guangqi, a real master. Isn't it normal for him to be able to fly? Han Pangpang was very dissatisfied with Lin Ge's address, as if someone said they didn't know their idol. Lin Gu didn't have time to pay attention to him. He just stared at the men without blinking. Why did he look a little familiar? The back figure gave him a very familiar feeling, but unfortunately it was too dark and the distance was too far, so Lin Gu couldn't see the front face clearly. The video ends here. I don't know if the equipment is broken or it was cut off manually. I have no idea what happened next. After watching the video, Lin Gu couldn't calm down for a long time. Is this the world of high martial arts? Ever since he came into this world, he has always been somewhat resistant to practicing martial arts. After all, he has lived in peace for too long. Although he envies those martial arts masters, he has no patience at all if he really has to practice on his own. But now it's different. Flying in the sky is something that everyone dreams of. Now someone suddenly tells him that if he practices martial arts hard, he will have the opportunity to achieve it in the future. How can he not be excited? If he wanted to go to university because of the system task before, now he has another motivation, which is to become a strongman like Su Guangqi. It's not for becoming stronger, it's just for being cool. He wants to be able to fly with a sword in the future to fulfill his middle school dream. Don't run around in the next 2 days. I heard that some of the alien warriors have not been caught yet. Although we are in the city, who knows if they can sneak in? Fatty Han said in a low voice. What are they doing here? Lin Gu was a little confused. Of course it's eating humans. Alien warriors can improve their strength by eating us humans. This is also the main reason why they often invade us. Han Pangpang looked as if it was a matter of course. Lin Gu was speechless for a while. You believe this kind of trick for children? Do you really think you are Tang Monk? Smell it to prolong your life and eat it to achieve immortality. Lin Gu doesn't quite believe this statement. If you don't believe me, forget it. Don't say I didn't warn you. Don't go out at night until the Public Security Bureau catches the men. Han Pangpang had an expression that said you don't understand anything. Lin Gu was too lazy to argue with him. Open your textbook and get ready to study. With the college entrance examination approaching, he has almost no practical experience and his only chance is theoretical knowledge. After last night's cramming, he already understood the rules of the college entrance examination, which is divided into two parts. The written test mainly tests some theoretical knowledge. The martial arts test is to test physical fitness, chi and blood, and actual combat. The full score is 1,000, with 400 points for the literary test, 400 for the martial arts test, and 200 for additional points. According to past experience, a score of 500 can get you into a university, 600 into a key university, and above 700 into a top university. As for above 800, you can choose any domestic school you want. There is an exception, that is, if someone is extremely outstanding in one aspect, he or she may be admitted as an exception. For example, the top scorer in the civil and martial arts examinations. Not only is admission free, but a large number of scholarships and resources will also be awarded. These are not school benefits, but official rewards that will be paid directly to you without going through any third party. The capital uses this method to cultivate talents and ensure that they will not be intercepted or deducted along the way. It is precisely this policy that has enabled common people's geniuses to have a chance to shine. Lin Ji's goal this time is very simple, which is to focus on theoretical knowledge. In this way, with his gift of photographic memory, he is confident that he will stand out. Time is running out, Lin Gu dare not continue to play badly, he must review all the knowledge points within these 20 days. Seeing that Lin Gu kept flipping through the books and ignoring him, Han Pangpang felt that it was boring and stopped talking nonsense with him. He just took out the textbook and started flipping through it. Ding ling ling. The bell rang and a capable woman walked into the classroom. Today is a practical class. Everyone follow me to the playground. The female teacher speaks very straightforwardly and has a temperament that is as good as any man. It's over. I'm going to get beaten again this time. Fatty Han let out a wail. Not only him, many people in the class looked struggling, as if they were trying to find an excuse to get out of it. This teacher also hits people. Lin Gu was shocked. Ms. Bai normally doesn't hit people, but she likes to make us fight each other. Han Pangpang looked as if he had lost all hope in life, and it was obvious that he had been beaten many times. Lin Gu vaguely guessed what this meant. I followed everyone to the playground with a nervous mood. Today we are going to talk about close combat techniques. I will first explain the basic points, and then we will start practicing in pairs. Lin Gu, come here and demonstrate to everyone. Bai Qiangwei called Lin Gu over. It was said to be a demonstration, but in fact, he was just a human target. Bai Qiangwei hit him at different parts of his body each time, and then explained the purpose and effect of this to everyone. This is the weak spot of the human body. Just a slight blow can cause a person to become temporarily paralyzed. This is a numb point. If you hit this spot, the whole body will be paralyzed instantly. And here. Bai Qiangwei kept hitting Lin Gu in various parts of his body, but she was very measured in her attacks, allowing Lin Gu to feel the effects without hurting him. The students below were watching with great interest, but Lin Gu, the person involved, was both sad and happy. It can be seen that Teacher Bai teaches very carefully. These moves may seem simple, but they are very practical. Lin Gu felt it particularly deeply. After all, he experienced every move personally and understood its effects more deeply than the students below. Okay, let's give a round of applause to Lin Gu. Thank you for setting an example for us. After Bai Qiangwei finished speaking, she led the applause for Lin Gu. There were a few people clapping along, but most of them were laughing at Lin Ji's joke. After all, those moves just now hit him, causing his body to involuntarily make a series of weird postures, which still looked very funny. Lin Gu didn't care much. Although he had suffered a lot just now, he also gained a lot. At least he had memorized the function of each ache appointment. Now I will start the group sparring. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Bai Qiangwei began to divide everyone into groups. UAIAI vs Li Minglin. Mao Xiaoming vs Zhang Wu. Jiang Lei vs Han Zixin. Lin Go vs Mo Fei. Teacher, I want to play against Lin Go. He just demonstrated it himself, so he must have been deeply touched. He can give me some more advice. Just as Bai Qiangwei finished the distribution, she heard Jiang Lei raise his hand and shout. Jiang Lei, this bastard, is trying to take advantage of you. Lin Go, don't agree. As soon as Han Pangpang heard it, he knew what the other party was planning and whispered to Lin Go. Student Lin Go, what do you say? Bai Qiangwei looked at Lin Go. I have no objection. What the teacher taught me just now really benefited me a lot. It's a good opportunity for me to discuss with Jiang Lei and verify what I have learned. When Lin Go saw Bai Qiangwei looking at her, she agreed without thinking. Lin Zi, don't be impulsive. Jiang Lei may be a jerk, but he's not bad. The last time I tested his Qi and HP, it was almost 200. After so much time, he must have broken through. Won't you get beaten if you go up there? When Han Pangpang heard that Lin Go agreed, he suddenly became anxious. He was really worried about Lin Go. We are both about the same level. Won't you get beaten up if you fight him? Lin Go asked back. We are different. I am thick-skinned and good at defense. Even if I get hit a few times, it's okay. If it really doesn't work, I can admit defeat. He won't dare to do anything to me. I'm not afraid of losing face. But if you go up to him, given his petty nature, he will definitely embarrass you. Han Pangpang tried his best to dissuade Lin Go. Lin Go didn't expect Han Pangpang to be so righteous. She felt a warm current in her heart. She gently patted Han Pangpang on the shoulder and comforted him. Don't worry, I'm not as weak as you think. After saying that, he walked directly towards Jiang Lei. Since Lin Go agrees, you can get started. White Rose took a few steps back, leaving enough space for everyone to perform. Lin Go, don't think you are great just because you have a great brother. I will let you know today that trash is trash. Jiang Lei saw Lin Go coming over and said sarcastically in a low voice. How old are you this year? Lin Go asked suddenly. 17. Jiang Lei answered subconsciously. I thought you were underage. You spoke so childishly. Do I need you to tell me what happened to my brother? No matter how jealous you are, he is still my brother, not your brother. This is a fact that can never be changed. As for you saying how great I am, I just want to say one thing, it's none of your business. Lin Go is not a pushover either. He can bicker with Han Pangpang all day long. How can he be compared to someone like Jiang Lei? You are looking for death. If I don't beat you to your knees and beg for mercy today, I will take your last name. Jiang Lei was furious. No, please don't. If someone doesn't know, they might think my brother has an illegitimate child. Lin Go quickly waved his hands to show that he disagreed. I'm going to kill you, bastard. Jiang Lei was so angry at Lin Go that his face turned red. He stopped talking nonsense and rushed forward. In terms of verbal attacks, Lin Go unilaterally crushed him. Continuing would only bring humiliation to himself. Don't be impulsive. Violence cannot solve the problem. Lin Go tried to dissuade him while dodging the opponent's attacks. It's too late to be afraid now. Jiang Lei sneered and attacked more fiercely. His Qi and blood value has reached over 230, and those who can compare with him in the class can be counted on one hand. As for Lin Go, in the last test, his Qi and blood value was only over 160. Even if he was a genius, it was impossible for him to increase his Qi and blood by 70 or 80 points in a week. This is also an important reason why he dares to look down on Lin Go. Lin Go carefully avoided the opponent's attack and looked very embarrassed. It must be said that although Jiang Lei had a foul mouth and a poor brain, his hard power was still very strong. The wind from his fist was whistling. It was clearly the most basic boxing technique, but he used it with great force. Just lie down. Jiang Lei seized the opportunity, accelerated suddenly, and punched Lin Go in the face. Just when he was about to hit Lin Go, he saw a smug smile on Lin Ji's face. What is he laughing at? A question mark flashed through Jiang Lei's mind. Before he could figure out what was going on, he saw Lin Go turn sideways, clasp one hand in a fist, push his elbow back, and lean straight into Jiang Lei's arms. Ah! A scream echoed in the playground and could be heard from far away. Everyone's eyes were looking this way. Lin Ge was standing there fine, while Jiang Lei was lying on the ground, holding his chest and wailing. What happened? I don't know. Am I seeing things? Jiang Lei was actually knocked down by Lin Ge. When the students around saw this scene, they all started talking about it, looking like they had seen a ghost. Even White Rose glanced sideways from time to time. Lin Ge, you actually plotted against me. Jiang Lei covered his chest, struggled to get up from the ground, and said with gritted teeth. The crowd around him suddenly realized what was going on and looked at Lin Ge with contempt. I told you, Jiang Lei is quite strong, how could he lose to Lin Ge? The classmates who had a good relationship with Jiang Lei all spoke up to agree. Plot? You have to provide evidence when you speak. What evidence do you have? Lin Ge asked back disdainfully. If it wasn't a sneak attack, how could you have possibly defeated me? You just used some despicable tricks. Jiang Lei said angrily. It's not wrong to say you're childish. Anyone with a bit of brains wouldn't say such a thing. In a life-and-death fight, there's no such thing as meanness. Do you think the aliens will talk to you about fairness and justice? Are you stupid? Lin Ge taunted. You, if you dare, compete with me again, I don't believe you can beat me. Jiang Lei was very angry and challenged for another fight. Can't stand losing or what? Is this not going to end yet? Han Pangpang was afraid that Lin Ge would get angry, so he quickly responded. Sure enough, you used a dirty trick that is not worthy of being shown on the stage. If you don't dare to fight, just say it directly. Jiang Lei thought Lin Ge was scared and immediately started to mock her. Since you want to be beaten so badly, I will grant your wish and make you admit defeat sincerely. After the battle just now, Lin Ge's confidence increased greatly and he decided to accept the challenge. Well, you still have some courage. When Jiang Lei saw Lin Ge agreed, he was overjoyed and immediately prepared to attack. Just as he was gathering strength and punching out, Lin Ge suddenly shouted, "Wait a minute." Jiang Lei was startled by the other party's action. He quickly retracted his fist and staggered, almost falling. He glared at Lin Ge and yelled, "What else do you want? Teacher Bai, please be our referee, so that someone won't deny his defeat." Lin Ge turned and said to Bai Qiangwei. Good. Bai Qiangwei simply agreed. She was also curious about how Lin Ge did it. She knew Jiang Lei's strength. There was a big gap between Lin Ge and the other party, but she was a little curious about how he could defeat the strong with the weak. Although the moves she just demonstrated can indeed help the weak defeat the strong, she doesn't think that Lin Ge can use them directly in actual combat just by experiencing them once. You have to know that it took her a whole month to achieve this. The students who were fighting around them also stopped and formed a circle, wanting to watch the two fight. Are you ready? White Rose looked at the two of them. All right. All right. The two answered in unison. Start. Following Bai Qiangwei's order, Jiang Lei pounced on Lin Ge like a cheetah. The wind from the fists was whistling, and the trajectory was almost invisible. Just when he was about to hit Lin Ge turned sideways and stretched out a foot. Jiang Lei was tripped and fell flat on his face. The students around him burst into laughter, especially Fatty Han, who took the lead in applauding. Lindsay, well done. Bai Qiangwei also showed a look of surprise. The layman sees the excitement, while the expert sees the details. Others thought it was a coincidence, but she saw something different. Lin Ge had a very precise grasp of the timing. That kick, whether it was earlier or later, would not have been effective. However, Lin Ge sees the fleeting flaw. Is this a coincidence? Bai Qiangwei knew Lin Ge's strength, so she was not sure whether this was a coincidence or the other party's grasp of timing. Jiang Lei quickly got up from the ground. His classmates' ridicule made him blush with embarrassment, and he wished he could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. At the same time, the look towards Lin Ge became even more angry. He stood firm again. This time he didn't dare to be careless. After 2 consecutive setbacks, he felt something was wrong. Although he is narrow-minded, he is not a fool. After 2 confrontations, he feels that Lin Ge is no longer the same as before. He couldn't tell exactly what was different. carefully circling around Lin Go, looking for his weakness. Are you going to fight or not? What are you wandering around for? Lin Go was a little depressed when he saw that the other party was reluctant to make a move and was circling around him instead. He was very clear about his situation. In the two confrontations just now, he took advantage of the other party's contempt for him and used tricky methods. If a fight really broke out, he would never be a match for Jiang Lei. Strength can defeat skill. This is not just talk. Jiang Lei's qi and blood value is obviously much higher than his. The opponent may not be hurt if he hits him a few times, but if the opponent hits him once, he will probably be killed immediately. Jiang Lei, come on, it's so hard to beat Lin Go, are you exhausted? The classmates around also began to urge. Hearing the urging, Jiang Lei felt a little embarrassed. He was the one who looked down on Lin Go, and now he was the one who didn't dare to take action. This was a bit embarrassing. Under the urging of the crowd, Jiang Lei took action and kicked directly at the bend of Lin Ge's leg. Lin Go didn't dare to take it head-on and quickly stepped back to avoid it. Jiang Lei took the opportunity to turn around and kick from behind. He kicked Lin Go and made him retreat several steps. Lin Go only felt a burning pain where he was kicked, as if something was stirring inside his body, and the pain made him break out in a cold sweat instantly. Jiang Lei waved his hand and immediately began to take advantage of the situation, punching and kicking Lin Go continuously, as if he wanted to return all the grievances he had just suffered to Lin Go. Lin Go was also beaten back repeatedly, looking in a miserable state. The students around him also started laughing, because Lin Ge's dodging posture was particularly awkward and even a little funny. There were only 3 people outside the venue who didn't laugh, Bai Qiangwei, Uaii, and Han Pangpang. Han Pangpang was worried about Lin Ge's safety, and he was already thinking about how to comfort her later. But Bai Qiangwei and Uaii saw the problem. It's over. Uaii sighed softly and looked at Lin Go with complicated eyes, which showed confusion, curiosity, and even a hint of surprise. Ai, tell me how I can comfort Lin Zi later. When Han Pangpang heard Uaii's words, his fat face turned into a bitter gourd shape. He doesn't need comfort. You should think of a way to comfort yourself. Uaii glanced at Han Pangpang with the same look as if he was an idiot, then turned and walked towards Bai Qiangwei. At this time, Lin Go had been forced into a desperate situation by Jiang Lei on the court, and it seemed that he could be knocked down with just a little more effort. Seeing that he had won, Jiang Lei smiled and said, "It's over." He threw a punch, heavy and powerful. If this punch hits hard, even a brick can be smashed into pieces. Hey. Lin Go suddenly smiled at Jiang Lei. He lowered his body, clenched his right fist, and raised a section of his middle finger, the Phoenix Eye Hammer. At the moment Jiang Lei threw a punch, he used the Phoenix Eye Hammer to hit the opponent 3 inches below the ribs. His strength was not that great, but he could not withstand Jiang Lei's strength. When he punched, his body leaned forward, and it looked like he was delivering the punch to the opponent. Ah! A scream rang out, even more terrible than the previous one. Lin Go wins. When Bai Qiangwei saw Lin Go take action, she already understood everything. As expected, the previous embarrassment was all deliberately acted out by him just to paralyze the other party. Jiang Lei didn't realize it at all and fell into Lin Ge's trap step by step. This is not the most important thing. If it were just like this, Bai Qiangwei would just think that Lin Ge's strategy was good, instead of being amazed at the finale. Lin Ge's final counterattack was what amazed her. She first induced the opponent to attack, consuming his energy and blood, and then at the moment when the opponent attacked, she used the Phoenix Eye Hammer, which had the strongest defense-breaking ability, to hit the opponent's rib acupuncture points. With just one strike, the opponent is knocked incapacitated. Even a warrior who has experienced many battles may not be able to perform this series of operations. This has nothing to do with strength. It is a kind of ability to respond to situations and a kind of fighting talent. 2 students, take Jiang Lei to the infirmary. Lin Go, come here for a moment. Bai Qiangwei directly found 2 people and carried the incapacitated Jiang Lei to the infirmary for treatment. Teacher, are you looking for me? Lin Go ran to Bai Qiangwei amid everyone's astonished gazes. Teacher, are you looking for me? Lin Go stood respectfully in front of Bai Qiangwei. Have you ever learned acupressure before? White Rose asked straight to the point. No, I'm learning it for the first time today. Lin Gu didn't know what she meant. First time learning. White Rose was a little surprised. You should know that there are 720 acupuncture points in the human body. When she demonstrated just now, she only taught a few major acupuncture points, which did not include the one that Lin Gu just pressed. Seeing the other party's strange expression, Lin Gu quickly added, when I had nothing to do before, I read some medical books and learned a little about the distribution of acupuncture points. I see. You are very smart. We all underestimated you before. Bai Qiangwei suddenly realized and looked at Lin Gu with approval. The college entrance examination is coming soon. If you have any questions, you can come to me. After saying this, Bai Qiangwei turned around and left, leaving Lin Gu standing there in a daze. Are you going to give me some special treatment? It would be a lie for Lin Gu to say that he was unhappy. Being able to get special attention from the teacher showed that he had gone from being an insignificant student to a student who could be saved in the teacher's eyes, a poor student. Lin Zi, you're awesome. You're so awesome. You made my blood boil just now. How did you do that? Just when Lin Gu was thinking about what she needed to ask Bai Qiangwei, Fatty Han ran over breathlessly, hugged Lin Ji's neck, and said excitedly. You can let Mr. Bai beat you up, too. Lin Gu forcibly pried the fat man's claws apart and rolled his eyes. Is it that simple? Han Pangpang asked with some suspicion. It's that simple. Getting beaten can make you stronger. Look, I'm a ready-made example. I was beaten by Teacher Bai, and then I realized it. Lin Gu lied with open eyes, the other party would not conduct the experiment anyway. After all, it is easier to convince people by saying this kind of thing than saying that you have some cheats. Don't listen to his nonsense. If a beating is really enough to make me learn, I don't mind getting a beating from Teacher Bai. Just as Han Pangpang was about to continue asking questions, Yu Aiai's voice came over. The two turned their heads and saw that Yu Aiai had walked behind them without them knowing. Hey, Lao Yu, why are you eavesdropping on our conversation? Han Pangpang grumbled in dissatisfaction. Get out of the way, fatty. I have something to say to Lin Gu. Yu Aiai kicked Han Pangpang aside and stared at Lin Gu. How about you teach me acupuncture points and help you review the theoretical knowledge first? Good. Lin Gu thought about it and then agreed. Han Pangpang, who was standing by, was stunned when he saw this scene. When did these two become so close? Still helping each other. What about me? Han Pangpang felt like no one wanted him anymore. A childhood friend who is a top student and a best friend who is a poor student, both of them were originally his, but now the childhood friend and the best friend are together, where should he go? Lin Zi, we agreed to play bad together. Why are you suddenly getting together with the top student? Han Pangpang's face was full of resentment. You fat guy can't talk, so just shut up. What do you mean we're in love? Yu Aiai's face turned red with anger at Han Pangpang's words, and she couldn't help but kick him again. Don't waste your time. There are still 20 days left. Let's work hard together and try to get into college. Lin Gu also didn't want Han Pangpang to continue to live a slack life, so he decided to help him. Are you serious? Fatty Han looked at Lin Gu in some surprise. Of course, I not only want to go to college, but I want to go to a capital city university, just like my brother. Lin Gu directly brought up Lin Yu, making the statement more convincing. Your brother is a student at Capital University. Yu Aiai was also shocked by Lin Ji's words, and the way she looked at him was a little different. Old Yu, you don't know this, right? His brother is Lin Yu, the one who gave us a speech yesterday. Seeing Yu Aiai looking confused, Han Pangpang quickly ran out to explain things to her. Are you Senior Lin Yu's younger brother? Yu Aiai was really shocked this time. She didn't expect that this almost invisible student in the class actually had a big brother. It really shows that you can't judge a person by his appearance. Others may not know, but Yu Aiai knows what Capital University means. That is an academy where only 5th-level warriors can graduate. Any one of them can become a leader in a second-tier city like theirs. Not to mention Lin Yu, a top student at a capital university. Don't talk nonsense about this. My brother is my brother, and I am me. I don't want to tarnish his reputation. Lin Ge was very happy when he heard the other person praising his brother, even happier than when he heard others praising him. Your strength is indeed a little weak. It will be difficult to improve the martial arts test in 20 days, but you can put more effort into the literary test. It shouldn't be difficult to get into university. UAI comforted her. Just say what you want to say. Can you stop being so Versailles? You think everyone is like you and that it's not difficult to get into college? If I get into college, my dad will set off firecrackers for 3 days to celebrate. Han Pangpang couldn't help but complain. UAI was speechless after being rebuked. Okay, Fatty, you should also work harder, and we can get into college together. Lin Ge didn't want to continue talking nonsense with them, so after he finished speaking, he patted Han Pangpang on the shoulder and left. After returning to the classroom, not long after, I saw UAI walking towards me with a few books. This is the note I usually make. Take a look at it first. If you have any questions, you can always ask me. Thank you. Lin Ge thanked him and took the notes. I'll wait for you in the playground after school tonight. When UAI saw Lin Ge take the notes, she left after saying a few words. Is this an appointment? Fatty Han looked shocked. Do you want to come? Lin Ge said indifferently. That's not good. You two are going on a date, and as the parent of both parties, I have to go. Han Pangpang made a shy expression. Roll. Okay. Without Han Pangpang, the lively guy, Lin Ge can finally read with peace of mind. I casually opened UAI's notes, which were filled with various beautiful small handwritings. From the origin of martial arts to its development history, there are also various classic cases. The characteristics and usage of various weapons are all clearly written. Lin Ge was overjoyed and began to flip through the book quickly. Looking at the contents of the notes, Lin Ge's mind was like a movie playing, constantly sketching out pictures, which were gradually enriched and became more vivid as he read the content. Time passed by unknowingly and soon it was time to go home from school. Still looking. Hurry up and leave. Seeing that Lin Ge was still reading, Han Pangpang couldn't help but poke the other's arm. Oh, okay. Lin Ge came back to his senses from that mysterious state and found that most of the class had left. After walking out of the school gate, Lin Ge felt as if he had forgotten something, but he couldn't remember it for a moment. After parting with Han Pangpang, I returned home and looked at the empty room, feeling a little lost. Lin, you did not come back today. I took out the textbook from my bag and was about to continue reading when I suddenly glanced at a few notebooks. I was stunned for a moment, then suddenly woke up. F***ck, I forgot about this. Lin Ge slapped his forehead and then remembered the agreement with UAI. He quickly took out his cell phone and prepared to call the other party, but after taking out his phone, he realized that he didn't have the other party's cell phone number. After thinking about it, he called Han Pangpang and prepared to ask for UAI's cell phone number. The call was quickly connected, and the familiar voice of Han Pangpang came from the other end. Lindsay, is there something you want to talk about? Give me UAI's phone number. I have something to say to her. Lin Ge went straight to the point. Okay, wait a minute. After saying that, Han Pangpang hung up the phone. In less than a minute, a text message came with a number on it. Lin Ge didn't dare to delay and called directly. Sorry, the other party's phone is turned off. Please try again later. A system prompt tone came from the phone. Lin Ge had no choice but to call Han Pangpang again and ask him to explain to UAI, after all, they were neighbors. Pangpang, go to UAI's house and tell her that I didn't stand her up on purpose today. I was just so engrossed in reading that I forgot about it. I thought it was nothing. Wait, I'll go to her house to find her. Han Pangpang replied nonchalantly, then walked out with his phone. Uncle, is AI at home? Xiao Xin, AI hasn't come back yet, do you have anything to do with her? A middle-aged man's voice came. Not back yet. That's fine, uncle. I'll go back first. Han Pangpang was a little surprised. He left Yu's house and turned to Lin Ge on the other end of the phone and said, Lindsay, AI hasn't come back yet. Is she still waiting for you in the playground? No way. Lin Ge looked at the time and it was already past 9 o'clock in the evening. I'll go to school and call you later. After Lin Ge finished speaking, he hung up the phone and walked out. Tonight is similar to yesterday, the streets are still deserted and there are almost no pedestrians. Lin Ge rode his bicycle all the way to school and headed straight for the playground under the watchful eyes of the gatekeeper. It was already past 10 o'clock in the evening and there were not many people on the playground. Lin Ge quickly found AI. You're really here. Lin Ge was a little surprised. You're late. AI replied expressionlessly, and it was unclear whether she was angry or not. Sorry, I was so engrossed in my reading that I forgot about it. Lin Ge quickly apologized. No need to explain. Since you are here, let's get started. Let's start with the exercises that the teacher taught today. AI didn't want to listen to his nonsense. She had reached a bottleneck and it was difficult for her to improve her abilities any further. The eight-point fighting technique that Bai Qiangwei taught her today was like opening the door to a new world for her. If she could learn it, it would definitely be a killer weapon for her martial arts test. Okay, I'll first tell you about the major acupuncture points on the human body, and then I'll practice with you for a while. Seeing that the other party was so straightforward, Lin Ge didn't want to continue talking nonsense and started explaining directly. This location is the temple, so there is no need to explain it. The two acupuncture points at the back of the head, Tianfu and Tianfeng, will cause a short-term dizziness or even death if hit. The carotid sinus at this location on the neck is also one of the body's fatal points. Depending on the force applied, it can cause fainting or shock and death. And here, this is the move I used to deal with Jiang Lei today, Jiwei point and Fui point. Hitting hard can make people feel extremely painful, and even directly rupture internal organs. Lin Ge pointed to the various acupuncture points on his body and began to explain their functions. AI listened very carefully and took notes in a small notebook from time to time. That's all for today, we'll talk about the rest tomorrow. Lin Ge was speaking until his mouth was dry. He looked at the time and it was already past 11 o'clock, so he ended the lecture directly. Wait a minute, you've said so much, can you show me a demonstration? I want to experience the effect myself. When AI saw Lin Ge was about to leave, she quickly opened her mouth and shouted. What? Lin Ge looked shocked. I didn't expect that the girl in front of me has such a masochistic tendency. I had just clearly told her that these acupoints cannot be attacked lightly, because if not handled properly, it may result in death. I believe you can handle it well. You can understand these acupuncture points better if you experience them yourself. Just consider it as doing me a favor. Come on. AI said very seriously. You can go find teacher by tomorrow. She is a warrior and a teacher. Her teaching will definitely be more detailed than mine. Lin Ge didn't dare to really do it. Women are narrow-minded. What if she holds a grudge? He couldn't beat her now. Teacher Bai has 3 classes, so how can she have that much time? Besides, I can't wait until tomorrow. I want to experience it now so that I can practice earlier. There was a hint of fanaticism in AI's eyes, just like a drunkard seeing fine wine, or a pervert seeing a loli, and she was unwilling to wait even a second. Well, bear with it. Lin Ge had no choice but to compromise, since he wasn't the one getting beaten anyway. Make a fist with your hand, bend and raise the middle finger slightly, and use the Phoenix Eye hammer. However, he did not dare to hit the sensitive parts, but chose an acupuncture point that was a little more resistant to attack. Tianzong point is located at the junction of the shoulder blade and spine in the human spine. When it is hit, people will feel sore all over and unable to use any strength. Lin Ge's target of this attack was there. The fist hit AI's back, making a dull collision sound. AI let out a muffled groan and frowned slightly. At that moment just now, she did feel pain and half of her body was powerless. However, as she mobilized the qi and blood in her body and circulated them around, the discomfort quickly disappeared. Try harder. Well. Lin Ge was speechless. Why did these words sound weird? Seeing that AI was fine, he stopped being pretentious and increased his strength. The Phoenix Eye hammer hit the Tianzong acupointment again. AI's body seemed to be made of steel this time, and it caused Lin Ge's wrist to ache. Didn't you eat? Attack with all your might, don't hold back. You AI scolded. Lin Ge felt as if he was insulted. He used half of his strength but was told that he was as weak as someone who had not eaten. Who could tolerate this? He didn't hold back at that moment. The blood and energy in his body flowed and gathered into his fist. He punched out, hitting Yu AI directly on the back. Ah! Yu AI groaned in pain and fell to the ground. Are you okay? Lin Ge hurried forward to help. Although he appears to be concerned, he is actually very happy in his heart. I told you to pretend, are you being honest now? It's really amazing. I can't resist even though I have more than 300 HP. If it were me attacking, someone with 500 HP would be able to fight. Yu AI stood up reluctantly and nodded. What? You already have 300 HP. Lin Ge's joy just now disappeared in an instant. Invisible pretense is the most deadly. He is still worried about breaking through 200 chi and health points, but others have already reached over 300 and are ready to challenge masters with 500 chi and health points. This made him feel very embarrassed. Thank you today. I have gained a lot. If you need any help in the future, you can come to me directly. Yu AI thanked him sincerely, then covered her back and prepared to leave. It's so late, do you want me to take you home? Lin Ge asked casually. Okay. Yu AI hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. Lin Ge was speechless and wanted to slap himself twice. He was just a rookie, why was he pretending to be a gentleman? But now that the words were out, I had no choice but to follow. Lin Ge pushed the bicycle and took Yu AI away from school. Neither of them spoke a word along the way. The night was dark, with only the dim street lights guiding the way forward. Lin Ge. What's wrong? Did you hear any noise? Yu AI asked in a low voice. Lin Ge stopped the car, pricked up his ears and listened, but heard nothing. No. What did you hear? I seemed to hear someone calling just now, but now it's gone. Yu AI wasn't quite sure either. You must have heard it wrong. The surroundings are in full view. Even one person. Before Lin Ge could finish his words, he saw a pair of scarlet eyes staring at them from the corner. What? Lin Ge felt his heart suddenly twitch, and the hair on his body stood up, as if he was being stared at by a wild beast. It's an alien, run! Yu AI's face changed drastically. When Lin Ge heard that they were from a different race, he pedaled his bicycle furiously. Unfortunately, he was still a step too late. He hadn't run far when he felt a strong wind coming from behind. Then he felt his body tighten and fell to the side. At the critical moment, Yu AI pulled him over and rolled over to avoid the opponent's attack. But Lin Ge's bicycle was not so lucky, it was smashed into a knot by the other party. Intermediate warrior. Yu AI's face turned pale as she looked at the alien slowly approaching. She had never expected that she would meet an alien here, and a mid-level warrior at that. What now? This was the first time that Lin Ge saw an alien race. They looked somewhat similar to humans, but their skin was a light blue color. What else can we do? We'll split up and go back to school later. Yu AI smiled bitterly. She had already prepared herself to be killed. Facing an intermediate warrior, she didn't even have the strength to fight back. Being killed was only a matter of time. Sister, are you stupid? The school is about 5 kilometers away from us. Do you think we can run there? Lin Ge couldn't help but complain. If you run, you may die. If you don't run, you will definitely die. It's your choice. Yu AI stared at the alien in front of her, her body stretched straight, ready to run away at any time. Oh, what a mess. I finally studied hard, but ended up meeting a foreign race. If I had known this, I would have just laid down and become a salted fish. Lin Ge was muttering to himself, he really felt wronged. Isn't it better to be a salted fish? You have to give me the most powerful brain system, and the talents given seem to be very awesome, but what is the reality? It takes a lot of time to accumulate, and it is only theoretical knowledge, which is of little help for actual combat. Run. At this moment, Yu AI suddenly shouted, and ran in one direction like a cheetah. Lin Ge was stunned at first, then cursed inwardly that he was cunning. Couldn't you tell me in advance? The two ran away, one on the left and one on the right. Unlike you AI, Lin Ge yelled as she ran, help! There are aliens. You AI, who had already run out, stumbled and almost fell when she heard the noise behind her. This idiot, is he looking for death? She ran away just now with the intention of luring the alien away so as to give Lin Ge a chance to escape. After all, her blood and chi value is high, and her attraction to other races is stronger than Lin Ge. But no one expected that Lin Ge would actually commit suicide and start shouting. Let's not talk about whether there are warriors in this remote place. Even if there are, they would have been dead by the time they arrived. Lin Ge didn't know all this. In his opinion, he had no chance to escape anyway. Even if he died, he couldn't let this alien have an easy time. At least he could remind others and make a contribution before he died. Sure enough, the aliens who were originally chasing you AI, after hearing Lin Ge's shouting, gave up their original target and ran towards Lin Ge. Lin Ge knew that he was no match for his opponent and did not even think about turning around to fight. He ran desperately towards the residential area, shouting as he ran. The aliens behind him were very angry at his actions. Their blood boiled and their speed increased sharply, blocking Lin Ge's way directly. Human, die. He spoke in broken common. Hey, you can talk. That's easy. How about we make a deal? You continue to walk around, and I'll pretend I didn't see you. Can we go our separate ways? Lin Ge was intercepted by the other party. She felt very disappointed and knew that she was finished. She pretended to be relaxed and talked to the other party, hoping to delay some time. You cunning human cub, you still want to delay time, ha 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 ha. The alien warrior sneered and reached out to grab him. I heard that you aliens like to eat living people. Is that true? Lin Ge dodged the opponent's attack in a panic, still asking questions. Yes, we like to eat living people, and we like to see your distorted expressions as you struggle before you die. The alien warrior grinned. Do you eat it alive? Of course, you will experience it soon. I will tear you into pieces, dig out your internal organs and eat them bite by bite. You should not be dead by then, so you can witness this scene with your own eyes. The alien warrior approached Lin Ge step by step, and the words he spoke were extremely cruel and bloody. Oh, so you have this hobby. The internal organs include large intestines, right? And you eat them raw. Why don't you just eat shit directly? Lin Ge asked innocently. You're looking for death. The alien warrior was furious. He originally wanted to use this method to scare Lin Ge and see him begging for mercy and fear, but he didn't expect to be tricked by the other party. Did I get it right? Are you angry out of shame, or are you trying to silence someone? Lin Ge tried his best to dodge the opponent's attack, but continued to tease him. Bang. The alien warrior punched Lin Ge and sent him flying 5 or 6 meters away. Lin Ge fell heavily to the ground, feeling as if he had been hit by a truck, with every part of his body hurting. Wow. A mouthful of blood gushed out of his throat. Is this a warrior? It looks like I'm really going to die today. I really don't want to accept this. Lin Ge had several broken ribs and was in so much pain all over that he didn't even have the strength to stand up. But he was very calm inside. There was no fear of death, nor any illusions about what would happen next. Some are just a little unwilling. He originally didn't care about this world until he met Lin Yu. Before the two of them had time to say a few words, he was about to die before he could send himself to take the college entrance examination. Brother, I missed you. Lin Ge muttered something in his heart, then slowly closed his eyes, waiting for death to come. How dare you, bastard, go wild in my territory. A loud shout was heard, followed by a loud bang. Lin Ge quickly opened his eyes. The original alien warrior disappeared, replaced by a middle-aged man with an untidy beard. Boy, if you're not dead, get up quickly. The middle-aged man turned and looked at Lin Ge. Uncle, it's you. Lin Ge recognized the person in front of him. It was the uncle he met last night. It's you again, kid. I told you not to wander around at night, but you didn't listen. Now you're in trouble. The middle-aged man casually knocked the alien who rushed over away, and then teased. Do you believe me if I say this is a coincidence? When Lin Gu saw the middle-aged man beat the alien away, he felt relieved. His life was saved today. Here's a candy. Don't die. I'll go deal with this bastard first. The middle-aged man turned to look at the alien warrior, his eyes gradually becoming colder. You're really capable of sneaking into the city. He. You're just a mere level 3 warrior, and you dare to talk to me like that. If I were in my prime, killing you would be like crushing an ant. The alien warrior let out a creepy laugh. Lin Gu then noticed that the clothes of this alien warrior seemed to be the wrong color, with a large blue water stain on it. What are you talking about? You are a lost dog. Today I will let you die in the hands of an ant like me. The middle-aged man sneered, and a pair of boxing gloves appeared out of thin air in his hands, with a burning breath on them. Fiery Sun Fist. The middle-aged man punched out, and a wave of heat came towards him. Standing behind him, Lin Gu felt as if he was in a furnace. The alien warrior also took out his weapon, which was a long sawtooth sword, and chopped directly at the middle-aged man. The fist and the sword collided with a dull sound, and both sides took a few steps back. Lin Gu noticed that the middle-aged man's arms began to tremble slightly, and it was obvious that he had suffered a loss in the previous confrontation. The alien warrior was not in a much better condition. His body was charred and the original wounds were broken by the blow, and large amounts of blue blood flowed out. So you're not a level 3 warrior, no wonder you're so confident. The alien warrior's eyes became somewhat solemn. Humph, it turns out to be the one who slipped through the net last night. I thought only one Grandmaster escaped, but I didn't expect there was another level 5 one. The middle-aged man snorted coldly, and a hint of solemnity appeared on his face. Lin Gu looked confused and exclaimed in his heart, wow. 2 level 5 warriors, one is seriously injured but pretends to be level 4, the other pretends to be level 3, both of them are cunning. It's my fault for being too young. I just watched the video of pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger in the morning, and I forgot about it in the evening. I must remember this in the future. This is an example. Lin Gu secretly swore in his heart that he would learn from them in the future. No matter how strong he was, he would pretend to be a weakling. When others thought he was a soft persimmon, he would suddenly explode and knock them down. Just when Lin Gu was thinking about how to trick people next time, the two started fighting again. From the initial probing, they gradually turned into a real fight. Neither side held back any more strength, and their moves were all powerful and aggressive, with the surging air waves sending Lin Gu flying. Lin Gu rolled and crawled to the side and swallowed the candy given to him by the middle-aged man. The black pill melted in his mouth and a cool feeling instantly swept through his body, making him feel like moaning. The burning chest no longer hurts. Is this the elixir? So magical. Lin Gu now understood that this was the healing elixir. After a while, Lin Gu tried to stand up. He still felt a dull pain in his chest, probably because of broken ribs. He didn't dare walk around anymore for fear of dislocating his bones. It would be really fun if he wasn't killed by the alien warriors but died because his ribs pierced his lungs. At this time, the battle between the two sides was nearing its end. Although the alien warrior was very powerful, he had been seriously injured before and was no match for the middle-aged man. With a scream, the middle-aged man changed his fist into a palm and stabbed it into the opponent's heart. Congratulations to the host for witnessing the battle between two warriors. You gained some insights while watching and will receive a random reward. Congratulations on obtaining the basic skill, breathing technique. Lin Gu was caught off guard by the sudden reminder. Am I the legendary spectator? Although he was shocked, it did not stop him from checking his reward. System, where is my reward? Lin Gu communicated with the system in his mind. All rewards can be obtained by the host through silent recitation. Lin Gu glanced at the middle-aged man who was packing up the spoils, and forced himself to resist the urge to take them. Lin Gu, are you okay? Just as he was about to thank the middle-aged man, UAIAI's voice came from behind him. Didn't you run away? Why are you back? Lin Gu looked at the girl in front of him, a little surprised. UAIAI wanted to say that she brought people back to help Lin Gu collect the body, but she swallowed the words back. Subconsciously glanced behind me. Okay, you're back just in time. Help me up, I think my ribs are broken. Seeing that she was hesitating, Lin Ge didn't bother to guess what she was thinking, so he just waved at her, signaling her to support him. Wait a moment, both of you. I'll have the police take you to the hospital. You're both students, so don't let your injuries affect your studies. After collecting the spoils, the middle-aged man walked over with a smile on his face. Are you Master Mo? When Yu saw who was coming, her mouth suddenly opened wide and she screamed in surprise. What demon master? Lin Ge was confused. It's Mo. Chief Coach Mo Wenjun. Yu rolled her eyes and reintroduced the identity of the person in front of her. He is the chief instructor of our Fangcheng Martial Arts School and is also recognized as the best master in Fangcheng. After listening to Yui's introduction, Lin Ge's face was full of disbelief. Although Mo Wenjun was strong, he was only level 5. He remembered that there were several teachers in the school who were level 5 strongmen. Don't disbelieve me. I'm telling you, Master Mo has been to the front line before. It is said that he was once a master-level warrior, but later he was injured and his realm fell, so he retired and came back. Yuiai lowered her voice and spoke to Lin Ge, fearing that Mo Wenjun would hear and make him unhappy. Is this true? This sloppy uncle was once a master. Lin Ge screamed in surprise. After 2 days of intensive study, he has understood the meaning of a Grandmaster-level powerhouse. Although it is not as powerful as a nuclear bomb, it is not inferior to the Dongfeng missile in the previous life and is of a strategic level. There are only more than 100 registered masters in the entire Huxia territory. He didn't expect to meet one here. What are you two whispering about? Come over here quickly, the ambulance will be here soon. Mo Wenjun was so perceptive, how could he not hear what the two of them were saying? It was just that he was too embarrassed to get close to them when they praised him behind his back, so he could only pretend not to hear it. Good. Lin Ge responded, then walked over with the support of Yuiai. Careful. Before Lin Ge could get close, he saw Mo Wenjun's face change, and he waved his hand to push the two people away. Bang. With a dull sound, Mo Wenjun fell heavily to the ground like a torn sack that was thrown out. Lin Ge rolled on the ground for several times before he stopped. The pain from pulling on his broken ribs made him sweat coldly. He looked up at Mo Wenjun, wanting to ask what was going on. But what I saw was him spitting blood and flying backwards. A short and thin old man appeared in front of them, staring at them with a cruel and violent look. Another alien race. Yuiai's pretty face turned pale. From the moment the other party attacked, he felt that the alien in front of him was even more powerful than the previous one. You have to know that the person just now was a level 5 expert, so could the person in front of him be at the peak of level 5? Or maybe, Grandmaster. Not only Yuiai thought so, even Lin Ge also felt the oppression coming from the other party. It was so terrifying that it made it difficult for him to breathe. I should have checked the almanac before going out today. What's going on? Lin Ge felt so frustrated. It was just like playing a game. He was in the novice village, but the monsters he encountered were all able to kill him instantly. Ahem. A series of coughing sounds were heard, and Mo Wenjun struggled to get up from the ground. His chest was already stained with blood, and a hideous wound was exposed. He looked extremely miserable and scary. Another peak level 5. You bastards are really haunting us. The murderous intent in Mo Wenjun's eyes was not concealed at all. Snort. The old man from a different race didn't say a word at all. He just snorted coldly and rushed towards Mo Wenjun. At this moment, Lin Ge saw that the other party seemed to be missing an arm, and a flash of inspiration came to his mind, and his face suddenly changed. Uncle, be careful, he is a master. As soon as these words were spoken, the expressions of the two people who were preparing to fight changed at the same time. Mo Wenjun didn't ask Lin Ge how he knew that. The figure that was originally rushing forward dodged to the side in a strange arc. Boom. With a loud bang, a knife appeared in the hands of the old man from the alien race, and he chopped heavily at the place where Mo Wenjun had just been. Damn you kid, you actually dared to ruin my plan. The old man from the alien race failed in his sneak attack and turned his anger directly to Lin Ge. A cold light flashed across and slashed directly towards Lin Ge and Yuiai. Mo Wenjun wanted to rescue the two people, but he was seriously injured in a sneak attack before, and there was an old man from a foreign race blocking the way, so he could only watch as the sword light slashed towards the two people. The release of chi and blood is actually at the Grandmaster level. Looking at the blade light, Mo Wenjun's heart instantly sank to the bottom. A master-level warrior was not someone he could deal with at his current level. He might even die here. Just as Lin Gu and Uai were looking at each other in despair, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them, holding a sword in his hand and directly taking the blow. At the same time, another figure appeared quietly, and chopped down with a long knife, heading straight for the head of the alien old man. Damn it, it's you two despicable guys again. The old man from the foreign race obviously knew the two men. He released all his aura and directly knocked the young man with the knife away. The man somersaulted in the air, landed steadily, and then looked at Mo Wenjun beside him. Can you still fight? It's just a minor injury. He won't die. As Mo Wenjun spoke, he put on his boxing gloves again, and collided his fists, and two balls of flame burned on his arms. Stay away, both of you. Leave this to us. Lin Yu turned his head and looked at the stunned Lin Gu and Uai, who was full of admiration. Brother, he's a master, don't be impulsive, let's wait for rescue. When Lin Gu saw that the person who came was Lin Yu, he felt mixed emotions, surprise, disappointment, and some worry. Because he knows who is on the other side. He was a powerful master from an alien race. He didn't think his brother was a match for the other party, so he could only comfort him and hope that Lin Yu would not be impulsive. You underestimate your brother too much. So what if he is a grandmaster? Today I will kill him for you to see. Lin Yu rubbed Lin Ge's head, shook the sword in his hand, and said very proudly. Lin Gu looked at the heroic man in front of him and felt a sense of strangeness. Is this still the brother who always had a smile on his face and was gentle and kind? The two figures kept overlapping and separating in his mind. At this moment, he realized that he seemed to have never understood Lin Yu and had never walked into his world to take a look. The sound of a sword interrupted his thoughts. When he came to his senses, he saw that Lin Yu had rushed into the battlefield at some point, and was besieging the alien master with Mo Wenjun and the knife-wielding young man. As she watched, Lin Gu felt something was wrong. Why do these two people look so familiar? And this tacit cooperation, I seem to have seen it somewhere before. It only took Lin Gu a moment to react. Morning video. It turns out those two people last night were my brother and him. Lin Gu looked at the young man with the knife, and all the details matched. The four men in the field fought fiercely. There was no testing at all, and they fought for their lives. Lin Yu attacked with a long sword in hand, Chu Yunan swung his long sword wildly, and Mo Wenjun fought head-on with a pair of boxing gloves. Although the opponent was a master, he was seriously injured last night and had an arm broken, so he was unable to do anything to the three of them for a while. Seeing that he had been unable to take the city after a long siege, the old man from the alien race had already considered retreating. This was human territory, and the longer it dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. If the human race master arrived, he would be powerless to resist. Thinking of this, his blood boiled and he forced the three people to retreat, then turned and ran. Lin Yu and the other two were all experienced masters, so how could they not see what he was thinking? Stop him! Lin Yu shouted. Then Chu Yunan took something out of his arms with a painful look on his face and threw it to the alien elder, shouting, 5 million. Before the black thing got close to the alien old man, it exploded in the air, and a cloud of white smoke instantly enveloped him. Mo Wenjun was about to rush over, but was pulled back by Lin Yu. Wait a minute. Under the other party's puzzled gaze, he pointed to the smoke in front. At this time, the white smoke began to dissipate rapidly. No, it would be more appropriate to use the word solidification. The mist condensed and turned into spiderweb-like threads that stuck tightly to the old alien man, making every movement he made seem extremely strenuous. Mo Wenjun asked in surprise, what the hell is this? It can even trap a grandmaster. The little thing that Tianji Pavilion has just researched is specially used to trap people. One piece costs 500 contribution points. Chu Yunan's face was filled with pain. He just threw it away and 2 months' work was wasted. Okay, let's take him down first and reminisce about the past. When Lin Yu saw that the fog had completely disappeared, he immediately called the two of them over. The swords and knives came out together, and immediately cut several deep wounds on the old alien man's body that were visible to the bone. Catch him alive. Seeing that the two had no intention of holding back, Mo Wenjun couldn't help but give them a reminder. A living master-level alien is much more valuable than a dead one. Don't even think about it. When the old alien heard this, his expression changed. The consciousness of resistance that he had lost surged up again. The blood and energy in his body continued to surge, and in the blink of an eye he returned to his peak state. Quickly retreat. Lin Yu shouted and ran directly towards Lin Gu. Before Lin Gu and UAI could react, he put his arms around their waists and ran away quickly. Not only him, Chu Yunnan was also running very fast, as if there was some ferocious beast behind him. Mo Wenjun's face also changed drastically, but unfortunately he was still a step too slow. Boom. There was a deafening explosion. The powerful air waved directly through Lin Gu and the other two out, and they fell heavily to the ground. Ah! A shrill wail resounded through the sky. What's wrong? Everyone looked in the direction where the sound came from. I saw Chu Yunnan getting up from the ground, his face full of sadness, as if he had lost all desire to live. Injured. Lin Yu looked him up and down and asked. Fatal wound, I feel like I'm going to die. Chu Yunnan sat down on the ground, his eyes dull, and muttered. Why don't we go to the hospital first? UAI suggested. Lin Yu glanced at Chu Yunnan, who was lying on the ground and looked like he was about to die, and turned to Lin Gu and the others and said, I'll take him there. You guys go home early. I'll leave the things here to you, senior brother. Good. Mo Wenjun was injured in the explosion just now. He had just taken the pill and was ready to wait for rescue. When he heard Lin Yu's words, he agreed directly. After Lin Yu arranged everything, he walked directly towards Chu Yunnan, picked him up with one hand, threw him directly on his shoulder, and strode away. Lin Gu, your brother is so handsome, does he have a girlfriend? UAI suddenly asked in a low voice. What? Does your brother have a girlfriend? No, but I do have a boyfriend, the one he's carrying. Lin Gu replied casually. Are you two really brothers? Why are you so much worse than your brother? UAI is no pushover either. When it comes to the degree of heartbreak, she is no less than Han Pangpang. Lin Gu was speechless. Old Yu, are you attracted to my brother? Lin Gu looked like he had seen a ghost. No. UAI did not deny it but asked back. Lao Yu. I treat you as a brother, and you actually want to be my sister-in-law. You are too rude. After what happened tonight, the relationship between the two was obviously a lot closer, and Lin Gu also started to joke around. UAI rolled her eyes and ignored him. Stop flirting with each other, come and help me up. Mo Wenjun walked over from the side, holding his waist. At this moment, he was in a very miserable state. His whole body was in tatters and was still oozing blood. He looked horrible. Uncle, are you okay? Lin Gu walked over and supported him. A master-level warrior blew himself up. Do you think I'm okay? With the help of Lin Gu, Mo Wenjun sat on the steps nearby. Just as Lin Gu was thinking about how to comfort the other person, several sounds of breaking through the air were heard. Looking up, they saw 4 or 5 stern-looking warriors running towards them, followed by several police cars. What happened here? Ah, Coach Mo, you are here too. When the leader saw Mo Wenjun, his attitude immediately became very respectful. 2 alien warriors sneaked in. They have been dealt with. You guys deal with them. I will report to the governor later. Mo Wenjun waved his hand, signaling the other party not to ask more questions. Okay, are you okay with your injury? It's okay, just rest for 2 days. Mo Wenjun stood up and waved to Lin Gu and the others, asking them to get in the car with him. Lin Gu didn't hesitate and got into the car with the help of UAI and drove straight to the municipal hospital. After working in the hospital for most of the night, resetting the broken ribs and taking some medicinal pills, Lin Gu finally felt a lot better. Lying on the hospital bed, he casually took out a small medicine bottle from his pocket. This thing contains the blood essence that Lin Yu gave him. He never had the chance to take it. Now that he finally has some free time, he decides to take one first. After swallowing a grain of blood essence, Lin Ge felt as if a warm current was flowing into his body, spreading through his throat and throughout his body. Without further delay, he immediately started to practice the breathing technique he had learned today and began to refine it. According to the book, one blood essence can increase the blood value by 50 to 100 points. I don't know if there is any limit. Lin Ge felt the changes in his body and wondered what his current qi and blood values were. System, do I have an attribute panel? Lin Ge communicates with the system in his mind. Name, Lin Ge. Age, 16. Qi and blood value, 186. Spiritual power, 327. Talent, photographic memory. Kung Fu, breathing technique. An illusory panel appeared in Lin Ge's mind, showing his current attributes. The qi and blood value is less than 200. What the hell is spiritual power? I have never heard of it. Lin Ge suddenly realized that it would be better not to watch it. Apart from the blood value that was so bad that it was unbearable to look at, the only thing left was mental strength, which was his blind spot in knowledge. System, what is the use of mental power? Spiritual power is the foundation of human beings. The higher your spiritual power, the faster you can learn, and it will be easier for you to break through than others. Then do you have any shopping malls or lucky draws or something like that? Something that can turn me into a master right away? No, this system is just an auxiliary, it can't do anything else. Lin Ge didn't know how to complain anymore. This was indeed a useless golden finger. Although other people's systems require various points, at least there is hope, but what about your own? You have nothing, and you have to rely on yourself for everything. Since the host is currently too weak, a temporary mission is issued. Master the use of 10 weapons and 10 skills within 3 days, and be rewarded with a random talent. When Lin Ge saw the task prompt that suddenly appeared, his eyes suddenly lit up. This is the correct way to open the system. Mastering 10 weapons and 10 skills within 3 days seems a bit difficult. Lin Ge scratched his head. Weapons were easy to learn. He could watch some videos online. But it is not easy to learn the martial arts. It is a secret that is not passed on. Unless you are admitted to a university or have a teacher willing to teach you personally, there is no place to learn it. These are not taught in ordinary middle schools because teenagers' worldviews are not yet fully established, and there is a fear that after learning these things, they may get carried away and cause conflicts, which could be bad. Therefore, what Lin Ge and the others are learning now are just some basic knowledge. Kung Fu like acupressure has already reached its ceiling. There are more basic boxing techniques. No, there is another place where you can learn it. Lin Ge suddenly thought that one could learn martial arts in the martial arts schools in the city, but the prices were too high and most people couldn't afford it. I'll ask Uncle Mo later and ask him to give me a discount. Lin Ge has already started thinking about how to fool Mo Wenjun. After all, they are friends of life and death. No conversation that night, and the next morning. Lin Ge got up early. After a night of breathing exercises, he felt that his body seemed to be stronger than before. Awake. How do you feel? Lin Yu appeared in the ward at some point, with his good friend Chu Yunan standing next to him. Brother, when did you come? When Lin Ge saw Lin Yu, a smile appeared on his face. I've been here for a while, but I saw you were sleeping soundly, so I didn't call you. Are you feeling better now? Much better. By the way, brother, can you lend me some money? I want to go to the martial arts school to learn. Lin Ge's face felt hot when he said this. After all, he is an adult, but he still asks his brother for money. How is this different from the parasite in his previous life? Why do you want to go to the martial arts gym out of the blue? Lin Yu was a little surprised. After what happened last night, I've thought it through. Without strength, I don't know when I'll die, so I want to become stronger. Lin Ge said seriously. You want to learn the technique? Lin Yu immediately understood his brother's intention of going to the martial arts gym. Lin Ge nodded. Okay, I'll go with you when you're discharged from the hospital. Lin Yu nodded in agreement without saying anything more. Ayu, you can teach yourself, why do you have to send your brother to a martial arts school? Chu Yunan asked curiously. I can only teach some of my own advanced techniques. I can't teach the basic ones without authorization. Lin Yu spread his hands helplessly. Seeing that Lin Ge was also puzzled, Lin Yu slowly explained, the capital prohibits private teaching of martial arts, unless you have the copyright, otherwise if you are discovered, not only will it be abolished, but you will also bear legal responsibility. Is there such a thing? Not only Lin Ge, but even Chu Yunan beside him was surprised. He really didn't know. As the eldest son of the Chu family, you certainly don't pay attention to these things. Lin Yu glanced at him. By the way, have you finished eating the blood essence I left for you? Lin Yu turned and looked at Lin Ge. I just ate one. Lin Ge answered truthfully. Well, take one pill a day and tell me when you're done. Good. Lin Ge nodded in agreement. The two chatted for a while before Lin Yu took Chu Yunan away. After leaving the ward, Chu Yunan asked, where are we going next? We have to go to the secret realm of Yuanqing to make up for this loss. Lin Yu said expressionlessly. When talking about this loss, both of them felt a pang of pain. They put in so much effort, but in the end the other party blew itself up, leaving them with nothing and instead losing a lot. Speaking of which, killing a Grandmaster-level alien race should earn you a lot of contribution points, right? Based on the current situation, there should be 1,000 points, which is a drop in the bucket and will not help. Lin Yu's target was the weapons and equipment on the opponent, which were much more valuable than the contribution value, but after a self-explosion, nothing was left. Since you've decided, let's go. I heard that Yuanqing has been very active recently. Chu Yunan showed an eager expression. The two left the hospital. Lin Ge was fiddling with his phone out of boredom. Before his injury healed, he didn't dare to move around for fear of dislocating his bones. Lin Ge, who was browsing her phone, was suddenly attracted by a piece of news. The 4 cities competition is about to begin. Who will win this year? I clicked on the post and took a look. This is an annual competition. The participants are basically high school students. It is jointly organized by the universities in the 4 cities of Round Sky and Square Earth. It is held every year before the college entrance examination. The top 3 contestants can directly obtain admission to prestigious universities, and those with outstanding performance can receive extra points. Lin Ge looked at the rules of the game again. There are 2 modes in total, single-player competition and team mode. I won't say much about the single-player, the winner of 1v1 will advance. The team mode is based on schools. 10 students are selected to go into the secret realm to complete tasks, and finally ranked according to the degree of completion. Just then, Lin Ge's phone suddenly rang, and the caller ID showed it was Pang Pang. Hey, fatty. Lin Z, I heard that you encountered an alien race. Han Pongpong's tone was a little anxious. Well, I encountered it when I was going back last night. How did you know? Lin Ge has been in the hospital since last night and has not told anyone. Old you told me that you encountered alien warriors and almost died. Are you feeling better now? I'll come to see you after school. It's okay. I think I can be discharged from the hospital tomorrow. A warm feeling surged through Lin Ge's heart. Oh, by the way, there is one more thing I need to tell you. The school plans to hold league trials in 3 days, and everyone must participate. League selection. Lin Ge was stunned, and then thought of the news he had just seen. The selection is divided into 2 types, 1 day for the literary test and 2 days for the martial arts test. In the end, 10 students will be left to represent the school in the competition. Han Pangpang was very concerned about this kind of thing and explained it very clearly. Are there any requirements for registration? Lin Ge asked. No, anyone can be a student. Okay, I understand. Thank you, fatty. Why are we being polite to each other? I won't say any more. The teacher is here. Bye. After saying that, Han Pangpang hung up the phone. Lin Ge stared at his phone for a while, then took out a blood sperm and swallowed it. Plans can't keep up with changes, and I don't have much time left. He originally wanted to accumulate theoretical knowledge first, but now it seems that there will definitely be a fierce battle before the college entrance examination. After all, it is a world of high-level martial arts, and everything is still based on force. Without giving it any more thought, he began to use breathing techniques to refine the energy of the blood essence. The day passed quickly. During this time, Han Pangpang and UAI came to visit. Han Pangpang, who usually didn't listen to the lectures, unexpectedly brought a copy of the class notes to Lin Go. He didn't know if it was an illusion, but after a day, he felt that his ribs seemed to have healed. I tried to get out of bed and move around, but didn't feel any discomfort. It can improve qi and blood, and actually speed up recovery from injuries. This is amazing. After one day, he had refined 3 blood essences and successfully increased his blood and qi value to more than 230 points. Including the one I took last night, I used a total of 4. It seems a bit wasteful. One blood essence of others can increase their qi and health by 50 to 100 points, but mine only increased by a dozen points. Lin Gu calculated the price and found that he spent 40,000 to 50,000 yuan a day for only such a small improvement. No wonder no one uses this method to improve. It's just a waste of money. But no matter how sad it is, you still have to eat it. He casually took out a blood sperm and put it into his mouth, then began to stand in the stance. Oh, so hardworking. Mo Wenjun arrived at the ward at some point and saw Lin Gu standing in a posture. He was a little surprised and made a teasing remark. Lin Gu ignored him and practiced breathing techniques to adjust his breathing rhythm. Whenever he was about to collapse, he took out a blood sperm and put it into his mouth. This went on for an hour. Mo Wenjun also sat aside and watched for an hour. Seeing that Lin Gu couldn't hold on any longer, he said, "In an hour, I ate 2 blood essences, which is quite luxurious. Uncle, please stop making sarcastic remarks. Isn't the college entrance examination coming soon? If you don't work hard, you probably won't even be able to get into university." Lin Gu glanced at the attribute panel. His health value was 297 points, about to break through 300. This refining effect is much better than simply using breathing techniques. If you keep practicing like this, you'll be lucky if you don't ruin yourself, let alone get into college. Click on the spot above your Zongdanshan. Dan Chuhol. Lin Gu asked tentatively. Hey, you actually know the acupuncture points. Every mistake is right there. Mo Wenjun was a little surprised. He just mentioned it casually, but the other party knew the acupuncture point. This didn't seem like a poor student. Lin Gu tapped it with his finger suspiciously, and a piercing pain spread throughout his body. Ah. This is the sequelae. There is no shortcut to martial arts training. If you can improve by eating blood essence, the whole world will be full of warriors, and there will be no ordinary people. Mo Wenjun sneered. Uncle, what should I do now? Lin Gu was sweating profusely from the pain. Don't take blood essence for a month. Stand still for 4 hours every day, or practice boxing to digest the stagnant qi and blood in your body. Good. Hearing this, Lin Gu didn't care about the pain, he just stood up straight and continued to stand. Seeing that the other party was so obedient, Mo Wenjun nodded with satisfaction, and then said nonchalantly, I heard that you want to go to a martial arts school to study. Well, the school only teaches some basic knowledge. I want to learn some skills. Lin Gu answered truthfully. Practicing the exercises is not that simple. If your qi and blood are not enough, it is easy to hurt your foundation. What is your qi and blood value now? Mo Wenjun asked. 300 right away. Not bad, I've barely made it to the entrance exam. I'll report to my martial arts gym starting tomorrow. After Mo Wenjun finished speaking, he stood up and walked out. Uncle, which one is your martial arts gym? Lin Gu shouted quickly. All of them. Mo Wenjun replied without even turning his head. Lin Gu was a little dumbfounded. It was not until this moment that he understood why UAI called him the chief coach. It turned out that all the martial arts schools in the city belonged to him.